It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 and the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship. Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this Hump Day edition. Man, I am fired the freak up. We got a lot to talk about, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the Superback Shawn Sierra. And guess what? We have a phenomenal show for you today. But guys, listen, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings. At SM_mornings or at SportsZone Shy. It's CHI at SportsZone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. And oh yeah, honey, you know what Wednesday is. Why not Wednesday? Yeah, here it is. There she is. She's bouncing the back out. She's ready to come out. She's my co-host, the co-pilot in this insanity. The one, the only, the lovely, the incomparable, little savage herself, Maya Kai. What up, Maya?
What a day. And I couldn't wait for this because I know we're all about to bump heads about some conversations.
Yes, we are. Yes, we
are.
are.
It already started last night. You know, when the White Sox game went off and the Cubs game, we already started bumping heads. Names were thrown around, meatball heads. I mean, boy, we just got it in.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Yes, you do. Yeah, and I'm sure there's gonna be tons of people like, "Oh, Maya, you're such a negative Nancy," but I'm putting it out there, anyways. And I failed again because Ivan, who was probably in distress because of the series, did not remind me to get my Cub gear, and I would have totally worn it today because they got their ass slammed by Detroit. I'd be like, Cubs. But instead, I'm wearing White Sox stuff. Ivan, you dropped the ball. You were supposed to remind me.
I didn't remind you.
Okay. Go back to the show. It's documented.
Right. Okay, I'm just gonna find something. I'm gonna find like the worst Cubs shirt online, and I'm just gonna send it to you and be like, "This is it. This is the one we've chosen."
We can talk
about it. We'll get the goofiest looking one. We'll get like Clark the Bear.
Here's what
I'm gonna Clark the Bear shirt for you.
I'm gonna go when the show goes off. I'm gonna go buy the shirt. I'm gonna take some pictures and post it on Facebook. I'm gonna do double duty on this and say the Cubs lost, or I'm sorry, the White Sox. I'm sorry. I'll be like, we had a bet about the NHL with the Blackhawks. They advanced. I said they wouldn't. So I was supposed to wear Cub gear. So because I failed to wear it on the Wednesday show, I'm posting pictures of me in Cubs gear. I will do that, and I will wear it next Wednesday on the show because then I'll have it.
Okay.
Fair?
Yeah, going above and beyond.
I'll go, because it's like
savage.
Rubbing it in their face like somebody can make these busters look good. Anyways, follow me on social media right there on the screen. Unlike Shawn, I'm user friendly. Right there on the screen, you can find me at Maya_Kai IG and at the Sports Chica Facebook and Twitter.
Oh man, listen, we got a great show for you, but I need you to get interactive with us. We need you to get interactive with us today. So here's what you can do. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well then, first of all, I guess you found us on Facebook. Now, I need you to leave a comment right there on the post. Okay, and if a comment comes up, I'm going to put it right on the screen unless it's stupid. So don't put any stupid posts up there because, we do have some. Never mind. I won't even start. As long as it's not a silly comment, we'll put it up there. And listen, if you're watching this on the app, please download the app. We are an app-centric platform. Make sure you download the app. And if you're on the app, you can text us from the App. Damn, no, man, we're getting Texas already. Maya glowing after last night's game. Woo, Maya. Ernest, you're back, Maya. Brandon. Oh, Brandon Suarez. He wants to know if we can get the Coach Q dance, Maya.
Coach Q.
I am always here on Wednesdays. That is my designated day to be here. I'm here on Wednesdays. Maybe I will do a video with the Coach Q dance. I'll think about it. I will think about it. And actually, I liked Carlos Zambrano. I did. So, he was fiery.
Yeah, Vernon Farley said, hey, come on, Maya, give him a signature Carlos Zambrano jersey. Just remind him of the L's. I did like Zambrano.
I did like Zambrano, though. I did. So that's, he was
feisty. That's definitely you. I can see why you'd like him.
Zambrano would have been a perfect White Sox. Like he would have loved him even more if he was a White Sox.
Could you have imagined him and Ozzy together?
Yes. Because aren't they both Venezuelan? Isn't Zambrano Venezuelan?
Talk about team too much. You'd be like, okay, what's going on in this conversation? Would have been good. Good stuff.
And then I don't know if you guys watched the post game yesterday too with Ozzy and Garfine. Dude, I'm sorry. I am more and more. I have to apologize. I am really wanting Renteria to get fired and Ozzy hired. I just am.
But you know what?
Ozzy. And Renteria's not doing a bad job. I love Ozzy.
Because Ozzy gets to be in rare form. That's what it is. He is so himself. And that's what you love about it. When he's a manager, he doesn't. I'm not saying he holds it back, but in this format, for some reason, I don't know if it's the new studio or what.
Yeah.
One day he'll come out rocking glasses, just saying stuff. He'll say stuff. I'm like, well, that was very. He made a comment about the Bulls, and I was like, you do know they share that network, right?
I don't care. They pay me. I'm okay. I say what I want to say. I love it. He's Ozzy Guillen unapologetically.
Yes,
and I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
Yes,
well, listen, we got a great show for you today. Listen, we know our guy comes up at 9 o'clock. Joseph Phillips from the Chicago Crusaders is going to come on. We're going to talk. We have a lot of topics to talk in our first segment. But at 10:30, Matt Zawoski, Southside Zoe himself, is coming on. He's from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. And you know what? I don't know who's a bigger Meathead Sox fan, me or him. I don't know. I think we're going to have that. Yes.
I think it's you, Shawn. I think it's you because he has perspective on things. So it's you. It's you.
I do too, but I just kind of put it to the back burner.
That would make you the bigger meatball. So
So Southside Zoe is going to call it. Going to join us at 10:30, and then we're waiting for a response. We might have a surprise guest at 11:30. Someone who's trying to change some trends in the health and fitness industry. So we're waiting to get that. It was a last minute thing, so we're still kind of waiting to get word on that. So we'll see. We'll let you know as the time draws closer. Well, guys, listen. You know how we do. Well, I didn't even introduce him properly. We just threw him on. Let's give him a proper introduction. He is the Wiz. He is the man behind the curtain. He is our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself. And we've got some work to do. So I just want to say, what's up, Ivan Vargas?
What up? You guys too bad for those Pittsburgh fans last night. or just Pittsburgh fans in general, because they are just like, regardless of how good the Sox were, God, Pittsburgh sucks.
Wait, see, and here's how can you say that? They just came off a 3-game winning streak. They beat the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee Brewers were 500 at the time when they played them, and they're coming off a 3-game winning streak of beating the Brewers. So you're talking about a hot team.
A broken clock's right twice a day. I'll just say that.
Well, this is 3 days in a row.
I mean, 3 days in a row. Sometimes you get lucky. The Pirates are not that good.
You don't get lucky 3 days in a row. Come on, man. See, everyone's crapping on it, and you were on that bandwagon too.
The Pirates better than the Brewers? Are the Pirates better than the Brewers? Because they got swept.
The last three games, they're like boom, 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 boom.
They were.
Last 3 games. Oh, it's gonna be a fun one today.
Welcome to 2020.
Yes. Well, listen, guys, our first segment, you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning to you, and these are the hot topics of the night before, or just the sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies in the Top of the Morning segment. It's powered by the Chicago Crusader, and with that, we're bringing our guy, the one, the only, the sports editor himself, Joseph Phillips. Joseph, what's up, Papa?
Good
JP.
morning.
You got the background? Look at
Good
you.
morning. Yeah, I'm back at my house.
Oh yeah, You were being fancy Monday night, right? When you were on What's Up, Cuz. Yes, you were.
Yeah. I'm back at my home. We're about to move, my wife and I, pretty soon. So we're backwards and forth to each other's places, So.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so today I'm at my house, and we're moving into a new place on Friday. So, well, actually on Sunday, my mom's birthday. So God bless.
Okay, so I was kind of like, I was always admiring the Peloton bike that was.
Yeah, that's my wife's house. That's her house. Yeah, she has the Peloton. She does the nice workouts. She does her thing, and now it's become our Peloton bike. But I have to get my shoes for her. She has her shoes. So
that's right. You don't wake up for mediocrity.
That's right. Just like the White Sox are doing. Shout out to them. But how you guys doing? I see you guys are cleaning.
Oh,
Y'all look like y'all just saw Santa Claus or something. What's going on?
no, we saw Giolito last night dealing. You know what sucked? As I said it, when he walked the leadoff hitter, like this is the third time through the second time through the inning, I was like, wouldn't that suck if he throws a no hitter and that's the only, instead of a perfect game, it's a no hitter and that's his only blemish because it was a 4-pitch walk.
Wow.
He wasn't even close to the strike zone on any of those pitches. I'm like, Lucas, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing?
Wow.
Like you're rolling and you throw, you're not even coming close. Maybe he was hoping that the guy would swing. Dude, I watched it from inning 1 to inning 8.5 because they didn't play the bottom. They had to play the bottom of the line because we.
Yeah, this looks like Christmas morning.
No, that's not. I'm glowing because I bought a new glow lotion, so it's got nothing to do with Giolito. Swear to God, it's got nothing to do with Giolito. It's this new lotion I'm using. So.
Oh man, me and Maya were talking about it yesterday. Maya's like, man, I'm like, come on, Maya, you guys.
Look, okay.
Why you crapping on Gio, man? Why you crapping on Gio?
Don't get me. Okay, let me just say this. I am not high on Giolito like most other Sox fans are. I'm still needing more from him for my full buy-in. I'm going to say this. He's the ace on this staff because there is nobody at this moment. Technically, we wouldn't just give it to Keuchel even if he was lights out because that wouldn't be the ethical thing to do to Giolito. So he gets to be the ace because before Keuchel came along and kind of infused like some leadership and kind of show people how you do things, Giolito was the guy. I'm going to tell you this. Up until I'm not sold. I mean, great, he got a no-hitter. I'm happy for him. I mean, you got to beat who's in front of you, so I'm okay with that. But I was like, that was a Payless no-hitter because you weren't like, you do that against the Cubs. You do that against like if he was pitching against the Twins and he pulled that off, then I'd be like, got me. But that was a Payless no-hitter. I'm sorry. Okay. Take it over to DSW and then we can talk about it. Go get me a red bottom no hitter and then I'll be like, yeah.
You know his Triple A team.
Ivan, can I take the floor once?
Give him the floor.
All right. So I have an announcement to make. Okay?
Oh boy.
I have a lot of White Sox friends. Okay, a lot of White Sox buddies, and most of them are bandwagon fans. Okay. And they get mad at us because we're loyal to our team. And sometimes they like to jump on the team at the most inopportune times, and it's kind of like fake to me. So I kind of call them out for doing that. And sometimes they get mad at me for doing it. So today, I just want to say this, okay? Maya, I know you were a Giolito, like, detractor. I know you didn't like him too much, but now he's throwing this no-hitter. Are you jumping on the Giolito bandwagon now? Like, is that what's going on right now?
You're talking about me?
Yeah.
No. I just said I am not impressed with a no-hitter against what looks like a AAA squad. It'd be like, you know what? It'd be like that kid who's like the star player on their team, and he goes and plays with the Special Olympic team, and he like dunking and killing it. You'd be like, come on, man. So he scored 100 points. But come on, man. I mean, I'm not taking it. I'm going to applaud him. I mean, it's not like it's necessarily easy to do, and he did it, so I got to respect it. But I'm going to tell you something I noticed about Giolito. I noticed the minute it was like a switch went off with him. The minute that Dane Dunning stepped on that mound and pitched a really solid game, I noticed after that Giolito all of a sudden pitched better. I saw the same kind of thing when Kopech came up and people were clamoring for Kopech, and all of a sudden Giolito pitched better. It's odd to say this, though. I think when he feels threatened or competition comes up, I think it brings out a better picture for him.
Okay.
Why
So
would you
Giolito's
say he wants to step his game up because other young guys are bringing the heat? And
I'm
he's
gonna
like,
tell you something.
I got the heat too.
We may not be calling him an ace come next year when the rest of the squad is up, because you know what? They're going to bring it. So you know what? I'm never going to be a Giolito person. I'm just not. I'm not. He'll never be in my circle of trust like that. It took Carlos Rodon a minute. And the thing is, I realize that Carlos Rodon legitimately has stuff, but boy, he's got bad bones. He's got bad bones. So he's never going to be able to be a starting pitcher that you can rely on. And that's unfortunate because really he finally found his stuff. Giolito has to do more for me to be impressed. Throw me a game. I'm sorry. He ain't no Mark Burley. Stop.
So let me ask you this. No one asked him to be Mark Burley. What if he wins the Cy Young?
Ooh.
Okay. If he gets a Cy Young before Walker Buehler from the Dodgers, I'll be like, wow. That means he pitched his ass off. If he gets,
I'll tell you what. If you keep putting James McCann behind a God bless the plate every time he pitches, he's gonna be in the Cy Young conversation. And I have nothing against Yasmani Grandal. I like him, and actually they had some chemistry, but they don't have the chemistry of a James McCann and a Lucas Giolito. You put him sorry, I know you're young, but you get a personal catcher, and that's James McCann.
Okay, I'll tell you something. Two things need to happen. You're right, because him and McCann, they definitely have the chemistry, and that should not be disturbed. I get that. So here's how he becomes a Cy Young. You keep McCann behind the plate, and if he keeps getting all the mid 500 or under teams, I guess the conversation could be Cy Young.
Well, hey, it's not our fault because look at all the teams we got to play. We got to play all the teams in the NL Central, and most of them are under 500. And there's 3 teams in the AL Central that are under 500. So he can't no-hit the Yankees. He can't no-hit the Rays. He can't no-hit the Dodgers. He can't no-hit anyone else because we're not playing them.
That means fortune was in his corner. So when he pitches lights out against a really good team, and I see that consistently, then I will give Giolito his just due. But I'm sorry, I didn't wake up for mediocrity today. So, and I wasn't up for it last night. Yeah,
it's so difficult to throw a no-hitter. You know, it's so difficult because they are professional hitters. They are professional hitters.
Okay, you saw the struggle was real, Shawn. Stop it.
One walk? Wow.
One walk. That was it. And he dominated 101 pitches.
I'm not saying a no-hitter isn't easy. I'm not saying it. You have to be able to do it. But I'm just saying it was a very advantageous situation to be able to do it.
He was the first White Sox pitcher in history to throw a no-hitter with double-digit Ks.
Double-digit strikeouts.
That's an amazing feat.
But you get that stat against a sorry-ass team. I don't know.
But
you know what though? I believe in competition. I just believe in competition, and this doesn't do it for me. I mean, here's my thing. If I'm building my legacy of greatness, I don't want my mediocrity to be anywhere in the conversation. But that's just me. He gonna take it either way. You wait till Kopech and Dunning get here. You wait. Oh. And I guarantee you, we're going to have different conversations about who's the best pitcher on this team.
Haven't we been waiting for Kopech and Dunning and all these guys for how long now? Like, I'm waiting still. Just asking.
You need to be quiet, Ivan. You got tap last night by the Tigers. You need to be quiet.
So, hey, you know what? And with Kopech and Dunning, if he feels it, maybe it's a competitive nature in him, knowing there's other young guys in his age group, because Dallas Keuchel's a different animal. He's a Cy Young, he's a World Series guy, and he's older. Yeah, but not all these guys, they're young. Yeah. And if they make him step his game up,
I'm telling you,
that's even better, because that's Kopech, that's Cease, that's Dunning, and that's Lucas Giolito. That's 4 guys that are going to be 25 or 26 and younger.
Just know this. So what you just know this. I was livid when they brought back Lopez. I was like, come on, man. I'm like, this is not the game. And then you had to give me a double dose of Gonzalez. I'm like, they're really trying to give me an ulcer. Okay, but it panned out. I'm going to tell you right now, there will not be a spot for Ray Lopez next year. There won't be. I was waiting for Dane Dunning forever. And I kept telling people how good he really is.
Yeah, you and me both were waiting for him. And Lopez,
I'm telling you something. There's no spot for Lopez. Nope. I want to see Rodon stay, but he's going to have to take the idea of being a middle reliever seriously if he wants to stay with the team, because everything is about to really be on point. And you keep Keuchel just because he's so important and making this veteran to make it all work. It's exactly what they need. But for some reason, whenever Giolito pitched, I watched that. I saw how he pitched after Kopech. It was like he changed. I saw how he came after Dunning, and I felt like he had a chip on his shoulder because people talked about Dane Dunning so much. I think he stepped on the mound with a chip on his shoulder and he pitched differently. So I do think, Shawn, it motivates him when people people talk about other people like they talked about him at one point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and that's fine. You know what? If you're going to continue to disrespect him, go ahead, keep disrespecting him. He's going to continue to throw gems, and he'll unfortunately for him, he might be the most underrated player and pitcher on that staff, but he could end up being the guy with the best guy, especially with that. He shook off McCann once. He said on 101 pitches, he shook him off once. And Steve Stone said it after the game. When you in that picture, he goes, he's never seen a no-hitter, or he's never seen a battery where they have one brain. When the pitcher literally just trusts you, what do you want me to throw? Got you. Boom. Here it comes. Got you. Here it comes. Boom. One time in 101 pitches, he shook him off. That's a chemistry that you just don't find everywhere. That's a chemistry that just it's boom. It's from Jump Street like it was last year, or it takes time to develop. And luckily for us White Sox fans, it was from Jump Street last year. And the only sad part is, how are the Sox going to keep McCann? Because McCann became an all-star last year. You see how vital he was to the pitching staff last year and this year, especially with Giolito. But this guy's going to want money. This guy, he's going to want to be a starter. He's going to want money. So what do? Do you put a lot of money in there? Because you already put money in Grandal, and Grandal is bringing in nice returns, a couple home runs, some handling the pitching staff very well. Do you put a lot of money in that catcher position? That's a decision Rick Hahn has to make. If it's me, I'm keeping McCann as whatever I got to do to keep McCann, because that gives us a Cy Young candidate. Okay, in Lucas Giolito, and not to mention what he can do with Michael Kopech, what he can do with Dylan Cease and Dane Dunning. With these guys, what can this guy do to these guys? If he did this with Lucas Giolito, what can he do with these other young guys? I say you got to keep both, and you got to make it work, Rick Hahn, because they're team friendly youngster the contracts of the core.
I think, and partially what I'm seeing, and I will say this, you saw this back when the Cubs, and I'm not making this alignment to say we're winning the World Series, but that energy you see between them as players is really important. They legitimately have bonded, and you can tell. And I'm going to tell you something. I would think in the back of their minds, they believe that they are good enough to make the playoffs. And the way they're looking right now, the test comes when they play the Twins. They opened the season against the Twins and didn't play very well. I get that. But now they've got a momentum. Things are clicking. You know what I mean? That's the series. That's your litmus test right there. So my thing is, they're going to walk into that series really focused and wanting not necessarily to sweep, but to win the series. Because if they win that series, that may, based on where they're at right now in the schedule, that could give them the lead in the division. And then it gets real interesting. You know what I mean? Based on how this series, they finishes up where they're at right now with Pittsburgh. So
we don't got a lot of time to wait, Maya. That's Monday. They're in Minnesota on Monday.
But what's so crazy about it is, you may have a situation like Abreu would make a concession to stay because he wants to see this through. You have people here now that might be like, I think we got something going. We could win. And they may work with you because, do you want to leave and go someplace else knowing you might be with a team that can be a contender? And it's a long time. I'm not one to throw that word around, that they can be a contender. So you may find McCann, Grandal, all those, they may make concessions to stay right now because of what's going on.
McCann is I have to believe that McCann is like y'all David Ross. That chemistry that Ross had with John Lester in 2016, and also that chemistry that Ross had with the Boston Red Sox and with John Lester. So, it wouldn't be a smart move to get rid of McCann, especially after this no-hitter. Like I said, the turning point of the season for you guys started on Friday. And you guys made your statement against the Cubs, which is a good team. And now everything is looking up from here. And you guys will be crowned the 2020 World Series champs. So.
No, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No. That's a little premature. But they have a shot.
There is.
Telling me there's a chance.
They don't turn it back now.
No.
Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
That first week was real doom and gloom, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can win the World Series.
Yeah,
No, wait, I've never. No, Ivan, I've never said that.
I know. You guys have never said that. I'm just.
I've always felt that playoffs, especially when they've changed the format for the playoffs for this season and kind of have like that play-in, so to speak. And as it stands right now, the White Sox are like that wild card. If they keep playing at this level, that would get that play-in game to get into the playoffs. Because if it looks at it right now, I love when you see if the season ended today. Last week it was the Yankees we'd have to play. Now I think it was the Twins we'd be back having to play. But that's going to change from week to week, obviously. But the key thing is that Minnesota is 20-11 right now. The White Sox are behind them at 18-12. So
we're tied with Cleveland.
Yeah, so these games right now are key against the Pirates. I mean, a sweep would be nice because you want to step into that series, against Minnesota. Like, it'll feel like a playoff because you'd be like, right now, we might be fighting for first in the division.
Oh, we will. Hell yeah, we will. We keep playing this way.
Right.
Yeah. That series.
The starting pitching has been their ERA's been great. Their ERA's been top in the league. And that's been keeping you in ball. First of all, it's been keeping you in the close ball games. But then all of a sudden, you could just go ahead and just have this onslaught where the other team's just going to get. There's no way to come back from it. But what I want to say about the catchers, where it's like especially when Joseph made that great comparison to David Ross, just the comparison to that.
Why is it great?
Because it is great. Because they won a World Series having 3 catchers on the team. That's why 3. But no, it's because you got a guy in Giolito who's still young, and I know you're hard on him, Maya, which I think you should rightfully be. You're the top overall pick in the league, and then you come and you've been fluttering up until now. But you keep another catcher, you keep a guy like a McCann who can hit. I would say he hits better than a David Ross at that time, and you keep a David McCann, and then you got a Yaz. That's just like to have smart baseball minds at that position. I like that idea. I like having the most if we got 2 smart catchers, I'll go with 2 smart catchers rather than a guy who's iffy and he can hit or he has some talent. I'll go with 2 smart catchers than I would rather go with somebody who could just do one or the other.
I don't know. Well, and the thing is, the McCann really does have we all disagreed that first game Giolito pitched, it shouldn't have been Grandal behind it. It shouldn't have been that. But I feel like they did it because it was one of their big signings. I remember leading into the season, Giolito and Grandal had spent some time together. It was an interview, and he was tapping into the energy about when Grandal was with the Brewers and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of think they felt like it was something they needed to do, but most people disagreed. I'm pretty sure that Lucas at this point would disagree as well.
You can't switch that again.
No,
you
don't
switch that again.
Touch it ever again.
That's right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I agree. So that piece is huge. I'm pretty sure they'll figure out a way to make that work. But you know what? We don't have that bridge to cross right now. It only becomes a bigger problem if somehow they do a fluke thing and win the World Series. Then it'd be like, wow, now you have to pay people. You can't not do it.
And remember, McCann has a 1-year deal, so he's a free agent at the end of the year, at the end of the season. So they brought him back for 1 year. So
and to let him walk would be insane to me. Before they even talked about Grandal, I liked James McCann. Remember, Shawn, when we were at the Sox Fest 2 years ago, and that lady was talking about McCann? Remember that? And she was like, "This kid McCann, you got to check him out. He's really good." I'm not sure.
We're
like who? Because I guess she had checked him out in spring training before, and she was saying how good he was. And surely enough, I swear that season, boom, right there, just like she said. So good stuff.
Yeah. And listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we have more top of the morning topics. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning with all 4 of us right here on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Line shot into right, coming in his angle, he's got the ball. And this one's over. And Lucas Giolito has thrown a no-hitter here at Guaranteed Rate Field. August 25th of 2020.
WGN with the call, the first no-hitter of the pandemic shortened season. Lucas Giolito leading the White Sox past the Pirates 4-0 the final. Giolito went the distance, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk on the day, improving his record to 3-2 overall.
2-1 fly ball left field, way back in left, got a chance, goodbye.
Tigers radio with the call, Jonathan Scope with the grand slam, 7-1 the final over Chicago. The Tigers rallied with a 5-run 6th inning. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Whether class is in school, at home, or a little bit of both, school goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From lap desks to notebooks, noise-canceling headphones to UV sanitizers.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select Marble comp books, 4-ounce Elmer's glue, and Staples dual-size pencil sharpeners are just 25 cents each.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/29, in-store only, limit 6, while supplies last, curbside available in most stores.
Hiring is challenging. Just ask Dylan Miskowitz, the COO of Cafe Altura.
We needed a director of coffee in order to move our products forward. It felt like we were looking for a needle in a haystack.
Dylan started using ZipRecruiter and found his perfect candidate in a few days.
We were very impressed with how quickly we had quality candidates apply through ZipRecruiter.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Nobody's here to watch, but everyone at home has their hearts in their throats. On 0-2 to right field, Adam Engel is there! A no-hitter! The 19th in White Sox history!
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
I'm just glad that Adam Engel didn't drop the ball.
That was smoked.
Man,
when he hit that, I screamed because of the trajectory. I'm like, oh, it looked like it was because obviously we can't see the defense and how they shift and where they're at, right. And so it looked like a little blooper, like right over the right side of the infield. And I was like, it was so funny when you watched the post game. Ozzy's like, oh, I said a bad word. I cannot say what I said when the ball was hit. I didn't say it. I was like, I said, you and me both. Ozzy was like, you and me both. I was like, oh,
yeah. I'm going to applaud Adam Engel for his athleticism because, I love Adam Engel. I just need for him to get better at the plate.
And he has been this year.
He has been. Yes, because from a defensive standpoint, the kid has got it. He, unlike some people who fall into nets and who sprain their ankle celebrating, that's not. Oh my God, that is not Adam Engel. I know. My fella is so uncoordinated.
El Pescado, the fish.
Okay.
He is the fish. He gets caught in that.
I mean, when they're all celebrating, and all of a sudden you see the camera pan over, and you see the medical staff, and I'm like, what happened? You trying to tell me this busted and twisted his ankle celebrating?
Oh, Eloy.
He is a clown. I mean, and I love him, but legitimately, he a clown.
Joseph, I'm just happy he's not on our side. This guy seems like a headache.
No, you're not.
You see, I am, because I tell you this, I am. With all that talent, I could see Eloy blowing it with his boneheadedness, with this stupid stuff. I could see him, pissing away his talent. I could see it. He does these.
Hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater.
I've
been a hater for a while. Eloy does the thing. Eloy does these things where you're like, bro, what the hell is that? Same thing with Luis Robert. You wouldn't want that crap on your team. I don't want that on my team.
No. Okay, here's the thing. It's gonna take.
He's not Manny Ramirez right now. He can't be Eloy being Eloy. He's not Manny Ramirez.
I know. It's just okay. When you watch Eloy's demeanor, you can tell he's just one of those jovial, silly people. You can tell that about him all the time. He is like a baby deer, Armando. He is. He doesn't know how to move yet. So maybe we should be calling him El Bambi because he is not. He is so goofy all the time. And he does a lot of stuff that, okay, so we talked about this on Sports 101, which in my heart, which by the way comes on tonight at 8 p.m. It's a sports, we're having talking about Josh Gibson tonight. But one of the things he talked about was Dominican baseball. Like, do you know every year, like out of the clubs that come out of the Dominican Republic, they send roughly 500 players into the minors and things like that from their training camps. And he said the culture there is they bring in so many kids starting at the age of 10, by the way. They work really hard to make themselves noticeable so they can make the cut. He said, so what part of people not understanding sometimes is that extraness sometimes you see from certain Latino baseball players is kind of ingrained in them when they were trying to compete to be that kid that would be chosen. They had to go above and beyond. And I don't know if that residual piece is still there, because now I thought about Eloy and I thought about Luis. And I thought, you know what? They can calm it down now because they're here. But to make it to this point, they had to be extra, so to speak, seriously, to be looked at, to be chosen. And I wouldn't have really thought about that had I not been talking with Jamar about how the whole baseball system is set up. Almost every club has a facility down there.
Oh, yeah.
It's really interesting. He was like, these kids, it's their dream to make it to the MLB. And so they know they have to do something and be exceptional all the time. So I feel like for Eloy, we look at him and we know he's goofy. We know you can look at his face and tell he's Scooby-Doo all day long. All day long.
Yeah, Scooby.
But unfortunately, Scooby and Shaggy when he on the field, and that's a problem.
Scooby can hit.
Give him a
Scooby's really talented. Scooby is uber talented, but Scooby could really screw it up.
Scooby was almost like Schwarber. Schwarber managed to clean up his bad footwork a little bit.
Right. And I would say he would have to take out of his time, out of his offseason. I don't know outside of baseball, I don't know who Eloy is. So I don't know if he's going to take that time. We talked about that with football, Shawn, with Mitch, about taking time out and doing the work on your own to go ahead and get better. Is Eloy going to do that because he is goofy, because he is young? Is he going to take that time out to go ahead and be a better outfielder?
Here's exactly why you want Ozzie, because Ricky probably won't tell him, boy, stop being goofy.
Right.
Ozzie will look at him and be like,
boy, stop being goofy ass.
Ozzie would tell him that. You know what I mean?
Just knock him on the back of the head.
He would say it in such a way that Eloy would respect it. And it's the thing. I'm not saying that I don't think that people don't respect Rick. I'm not saying that. But Ozzie and Rick are on two different planes when you talk about levels of respect. You know what I mean? So it's, for instance, it's like when Coop comes on the mound when the pitchers are messing up, Dylan Cease looked like his daddy was coming to talk to him.
Yeah, it's like, oh, damn.
He's like,
damn.
Like, and then New York jumped out, he all New York and it jumped out. And then Dylan got it right. To me, certain people command respect. And I'm not saying the players don't respect Ricky, but there's levels to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just levels to it. I don't think his level is high enough. I also don't think he has the rapport with the players. Like when Giolito hugged him, I was like, no. I don't know. It's just something. I'm a meatball about Ozzie. I do like him a lot, and I do think with this team he could do a lot with it. But I'm trying to be open-minded because Renteria does have them winning, and I can't discount that. I want to, just like I had to give Colleton a pass. I can't step all over him like I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? I got to respect what he did this season, and I got to give him a chance to show that he can do more. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, no matter how we feel about Ricky, we have to give him this season to see what he does with it. I'll tell you what, though, he can't afford to not do something good with it because of how things are looking right now. You know what I mean?
All right. You guys have an abundance of resources on the South Side. Like you said, all you got to do right now is push the right buttons. I still got you guys competing in the World Series. I haven't changed that. Right now, you're starting to see the fruits of that labor. Giolito shutting guys down as he was last week, as me and Shawn was talking about it, just having that confidence from your manager and Ricky, just not snatching him out when he's in a groove. And then in addition to that, having the right battery mate back there to pretty much shut down the opposition. And then last, with just the way everything is going, it seems like Ricky Renteria is pushing all the right buttons, just with the matchups, the lineups, switching the starters up every now and then. And then, like I said, Dallas Keuchel, he's like y'all John Lester, like he's that big free agent signing that can dominate every time out.
I also want to put something on the table. I was a person prior to getting Keuchel. I had hashtag call Keuchel. I was saying that last year.
Call Keuchel. I like that. That's a good
I said that last year. I was like, look, he's available. Get him.
I was with you. I can corroborate. I was with you. I wanted Keuchel. I wanted it was Keuchel or who was the other pitcher that off the top of my head I can't remember who it was that it's either one of those two. I was like one of those two. I said they need a veteran pitcher in that rotation.
Yes.
I said just to calm them down. I said to let them know how to be a professional pitcher. and they're both. I can't remember who the other person was, but when you bring in a World Series winner, a Cy Young Award winner from 5 years ago, in there with young, extremely talented pitchers, you learn. Okay, you learn by their daily routine. You learn from their habits. You learn what made them so great. Mm-hmm. And when you have all the talent in the world, at that point, it's about habits. It's about a routine. And if there's anyone I want to follow a routine of, that's a routine of a Cy Young Award winner. That's the routine of a starter starting a rotation in a World Series champion. That's the routine that I want to follow. And by bringing him in, he's just really elevating these guys to another level, and then we mentioned the competition between the younger guys. Like, okay, Dallas, you're the man, but now I can't want to be the man in 3 or 4 years when you're not here anymore. I want to take it. Well, Kopech, well, I'm going to take it. Well, then Lucas Giolito, I want to take it. Dylan Cease's like, well, I want to take it. And that in-house competition is a good thing, because now they're each try to outdo each other. And then, you know what? When you step on the mound, you are uber focused, literally uber focused on what it is that you have to do, because you can't be the weak link, because it will be apparent if everyone's pitching at a high level and you pitch down here and you get shelled. Like if you put in Ray Lopez, who's the weak link? Ray Lopez. It's a given. It's not even a question. And I think all those guys are so competitive to the point where they don't want to be the weak link. Well, that weak link might only be 16 wins. You know what I mean? And everyone else could have 18 or 20 wins. That's the weak link that I want. A pitcher that only wins 16 games, and he has the lowest amount for the rotation.
True. I agree.
Abundance of resources, man. Abundance of resources.
True. Well, let's move on to next top of the morning topic. The Cubs followed the Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers 7-1 yesterday up in Motown. What do you think? And here's what I was upset about. Okay. Tyler Chatwood goes. He pitches 1 1/3, 1 1/3, and you wanted to tag team him is what it really looked like. You wanted to tag team him with Quintana. Have Chatwood go a couple, Quintana go a couple. I'm cool with it. Fine. Why'd you bring Quintana off the bench? Why did you bring him out of the bullpen? All right, Quintana's a starter. Joe, give me your thoughts. Do you think they should have started Quintana and just basically flip-flopped them and Tyler? Because Tyler's had played. He's come out of the bullpen before.
Yeah, I think David Ross was trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Both of them were returning back to the rotation, and he had to find a way to get them some innings. And Tyler Chatwood turned back into Tyler Walkwood, which is what the first year we signed him.
Hey, Joseph, we used to call him the crossing guard. We call him the crossing guard because he would walk anybody across.
He turned into Walkwood last night, as Lynn Casper was saying on the broadcast. He was like, whenever you see the manager stretching out his hamstrings, he's coming to get you. David Ross was like, okay, all right, I've seen enough, And then he knew, I think he kind of had in the back of his mind that Chatwood was going to go like 1 or 2 innings if he didn't have his control, and then he was going to let Quintana come in and pitch the rest of the game. But like I said, with Quintana, he's always been consistently inconsistent. I think that was his thing with the White Sox was he'll pitch a great game, but they didn't score runs from him. His thing with the Cubs is, sometimes we're going to get that type of player that he was with the White Sox, and then sometimes we won't. So it's kind of like we don't know what we're really getting with him. We still haven't figured it out yet. So I'm the type of guy, if I was the coach, I'll put Quintana at long relief, and I think that's what David Ross is trying to do. He's trying to see how he pitched, if he's coming in a relief effort, and see if he can actually shut down the air. We talked about that last week about having a long relief that can actually come in and shut down batters. And right now, I don't think Quintana, I think he needs a couple of starts under his belt, just so if he does decide to move him to long relief, at least he'll have some confidence, in his heart.
Okay, but see, here's the problem with that. And Quintana will always be one of our own. I mean, but that inconsistency part is big. Him and Giolito are both guilty of inconsistency. Yes. But the thing about it is, okay, you bring back Quintana. It kind of showed me like when they brought back Ray Lopez, and I was like, oh God, no, not in this series.
Yeah.
I was like, why is he not starting against Pittsburgh? That's how I felt. Like, why are you putting him in like a good series like this? And luckily that didn't kind of put egg on everybody's face. Bringing back Quintana against Detroit, I kind of feel like that's a good matchup, so to speak. You didn't put him against somebody who was going to clobber him. You know what I'm saying? That's a good matchup to bring him back if you're going to bring him back anywhere for starts. My thing about Chatwood is when everyone's like, oh, he's I'm like, no, he's not. He sucks. And he's right back to being who he is. So there are some, just like early in the season, the Sox had their kind of pitching issues. The Cubs, when you get past Hendricks, I'm still lukewarm on you, Darvish.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said.
You had me with Chatwood, and then as soon as you mentioned you, it was amazing.
Yeah, the verdict is still out on you, Darvish.
Look,
my whole thing is at least give him like 5 more starts at least. So we have that confidence in you. But
he gets you when you need him the most. That's the problem with you, Darvish. He has pitched phenomenal regular season games, and then you get his ass in the clutch. First of all, he need to cut his damn hair. That's the first thing.
No, Maya, he's waiting to braid it. He got the corn roll.
He better not. He better not.
Yeah, he will. Hey, he's not gonna cut his hair.
Look what he did. That.
Hey, it's Samson. Leave him alone. He's gonna braid. He's gonna corn roll it.
The bees hanging out the back.
He's not cutting his hair.
The bees hanging out the back.
I get this. Quintana has the ability, but he is coming back, and you got to give him the starts. I don't. Do we expect for this first outing coming back to be phenomenal? Is that what we expected? Because I don't think that was a fair expectation. So give him a couple more starts and see how it goes before you decide to put him in that middle relief position. Like I put Rodon in middle relief, not because he doesn't have starter stuff, but because he's delicate.
But they're sending a message to Quintana. Like look, bro. We gave up our top 2 prospects pretty much for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay? And you guys benefited from it. Okay. Y'all got the murderers row lineup from the 27 Yanks out there. So what I'm saying is that we like, bro, you on the clock right now. Okay.
But remember this. When you brought Quintana over, though, that season he actually pitched relatively well for the Cubs. He did.
Yeah, but he's
still. You need him now. I get it.
He wasn't what we thought he was going to be.
We brought him in to be number
2. But we knew that. That's why we gave him to you.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm listening.
We knew that he wasn't.
Yeah. You guys, y'all were sitting back like Dr. Evil. I know y'all was sitting back like, yes, we gave him nothing for something. It's okay.
Come here, kitty.
Y'all do. That's what the White Sox do. That's why y'all still got that black mark on y'all from 1919. But we're not going to talk about that.
Wow. No, we want to talk about that.
If you guys stop playing like that.
At the end of the day, hello. At the end of the day, I have to take a little shot at this.
You do know that the Cubs' original name was the White Stockings.
Right now, we created you guys.
Now you're talking like you
created you.
We created you guys. We made you guys. What else you created?
You
wouldn't have a name. You know that, right?
Your original name was the White Stockings.
So you're saying you created us? Well, I'll tell you what else you created. You created a brokerage where you'd sell tickets to yourself and then resell them at a higher price to your fans. You remember that thing you created too? Remember that? Or I don't know if you remember that. Or cover it. But I digress.
Hey, Shawn.
I'll be honest.
Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so.
It's so.
Hey, Cupman, hold on. I got to take it for $30, but hold on. Let me sell it to myself. I'll sell it to you for $80. You got it? Okay, good. We're good.
I hate to say, this is how I see it, and I like Quintana, and I was always hoping he would be more, but it just didn't materialize. Mm-hmm. But the season you did get him, he did give you something you needed from him. But now you need him obviously for something different. But I'll be honest, if you're looking at thinking he's going to be like this great piece in your pitching rotation, I don't feel that's the case. I don't.
I feel like he can be a really, really good number 3.
You think really?
A really, really good number 3. I do, because if the Cubs can give him offense, like we said, what was his MO when he was pitching great for the Sox? They weren't giving him offense, right. So his record wasn't reflecting his pitching, or even you know what I'm saying, his or his ERA. But with the Cubs. For the most part, they've been giving some type of offense. They've been giving him some offense. He just hasn't really been pitching as good as he did when he first came.
Here's what you need. Here's where he needs to go. He needs to be in the number 4 slot.
I was going to say
be a number 4 slot because first of all you got Hendricks, you got Darvish, and you have Lester. So those are the top 3. Put Quintana at the 4, all right, in the number 4 slot, because he's going to be better than most number 4s. Okay,
he'll be better. Yeah, he'll be better
that way. He'll be better than most number 4s if it matches up that way. So now, if he gets some offense, which he didn't get a lot here on a consistent basis with the White Sox, if he can get some offense, okay, him being in that one-on-one, that there's really not a one-on-one battle, but the pitcher versus pitcher, he'll have that. He'll have the advantage, and then you have those runs. So he could be a phenomenal piece at the back end of your rotation because what did you say, Ivan? He's a 3 or maybe even 2. He has that talent.
He has the talent.
Now he's going up against a number 4 pitcher, and most teams don't have. Most teams are lucky to have a 1 and 2. Fewer teams have a 1, 2, 3. Very few teams have a 1, 2, 3, 4.
But let me ask you this, and I agree. I was thinking 4 as well, Shawn, not a 3. And he said 3. I'm like, no, I'm thinking more like 4. It'd be more advantageous. But let me ask you this question: after you've watched the series with the White Sox, now you've seen the series with the Tigers. Beyond Quintana, because to me the issue isn't just there. What do you feel is going on? What's connecting? I mean, I know there's some issues with the lineup, like Bryant's not there, but okay, but we feel this is a team that's talented. But to me, I feel a lot of your players are playing very disjointed. I don't think Contreras, he made a pick in the White Sox game that made no sense. It was so not Wilson Contreras to me. My boy, Javi, what?
He's batting around Mendoza line.
I mean,
it's 2 home runs the other day.
I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like that consistency and focus. The very thing I felt like Joe Madden got accused of them not having, I feel like I'm seeing again.
Right. And I think if there's this is what I'm seeing, and this is what I watch. Remember, I kept saying we just have to stay humble. Okay. There's a reason why I was saying that, because you can get a little giggly, a little bit. When you start winning, there's a false sense of security that comes with that, as if, I just arrived here. But the thing about David Ross, he holds them individually accountable. But in this scenario, it's not necessarily the players, or I'm saying it's not necessarily the offense. I believe it's the relief pitching. The relief pitching is the culprit to what's taking place right now. Like, everything is breaking down because the relief pitching hasn't been there consistent enough. And now guys are starting to mentally let their guard down. And it started with our starting pitching. Our batters, I can say this about our batters, okay? We've taken a lot of pitches when it came to to our at-bats. We've been taking a lot of pitches, which put us in situations where we can score on small ball. We can also score with the home run. Batting average, yes, it means something, but in this case, we've been building up high, on base percentage. Putting ourselves in situations where we are on base and we have been driving runs in consistently. That's how we've been winning games. It's not necessarily because of the batting average, because some of those guys are batting like 201, 196, 211, but they have like a 800 OPS or something like that. What I'm saying is that they're taking more pitches now. So you're getting a combination of that, and then still they haven't clicked yet. Everybody's not playing at their best game. So we're kind of like overachieving right now with the bad offensive lineup. You see what I mean? Like, everybody hasn't started hitting yet. We like Javi hit 2 the other day. Actually he hits better on the road than he does at home. I think he has like 5 home runs on the road, 4 home runs on the road. He has a 400 batting average on the road. So what I'm saying is that I think there's an adjustment period taking place with the offense, and then we need to get our relief pitching in order, because that's the thing. That's kind of like our weak link right now, and it's messing with the guys mentally, because what good is it to build a lead up, to shut a guy down, and then a relief pitcher come in and take away their confidence? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right.
I think a big thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say move on, because we could talk a couple more baseball a little later in the show. The next top of the morning topic, I know I just threw this one at you. Well, we could talk this real quick. No, I want to talk this one. College football. All right. There's 3 conferences that still are set to play. Okay. The Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC. All right. They're facing a harsh reality. You saw what happened over at Notre Dame. Okay. Tons of kids. Was it? I don't remember the exact amount of kids who caught COVID. Oklahoma State, frat house. I want to say 20 plus kids came down with COVID.
Okay.
You're going to have, there's quite a few other schools that are coming down with COVID. And here's the deal, because it's not just the football team that you're dealing with.
No.
You're dealing with the student body. You're dealing with the kids who are coming from Illinois, coming from Miami, coming from Texas, coming from New York, from all over this country. You're coming to these various campuses, and you don't know who's got what. And all it needs is, one of your players, your quarterback player, to be howling at the girl he was howling at last year, who's back in, spent some time with her, but she's a carrier. And now your starting quarterback is out. And now the backup quarterback's out because they're in the meeting room together. It happens so fast. And this is what college football doesn't I shouldn't say they don't understand. They understand it. It's not, they just don't care.
Hey, look, and I said this a long time ago. This was going to be the issue with this particular age demographic.
Bingo.
When schools shut down last year, they knew at that age, they're negative. They're just nasty. Kids at this age group are nasty. And they also believe, you remember what you were like, college kids, high school kids think they're invincible. They don't think it's going to happen to them. I'll be okay. Look, you saw with spring break, like don't do spring break. And you saw how that just turned into an absolute disaster. This is an age group that's hard to get to comply with things. So I already knew this was going to be a problem. The only reason our numbers didn't spike higher before is they shut down schools because they realize they're all touchy-feely and they don't listen. So I'm not shocked. And the fact that they're in denial about this, I was like, this is how it's going to be. It's going to be a rampant spread. So why don't you just all have a hugging fest and get it over with? If you're gonna be open, just get it over with.
A little more than hugging on college campuses, Maya.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
I don't know if I can say this on air, but there's a lot of little horny little college students.
Yeah, think about
it is summertime. I'm just being honest. I know when I was in college, even though I was disciplined in college, my main focus was like, hey, knock that homework out.
Knock that home. Yeah, knock that. Yeah, right.
Who knocked that homework out? Who?
You're supposed to hang out at. But then you got that other half that's gonna be like, look,
but okay,
do it all.
You don't even have to be like the most promiscuous or out of control person in college.
Right.
It's just the interaction. You go to a party. Everything you do collectively with people. You hang out in groups. You know what I mean? So it's just about, even if you're just kicking it with your friends, they can leave and go to class, come back, and now somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's just. And the thing is getting them to wear masks. That's the other issue. It's like you take your mask off for something. It's just, unfortunately, the problem with COVID is it's highly contagious. That's the thing. Does everybody die from it? No, but it's highly contagious. It spreads. Somebody can die from it. We do know that, but it's just easy to spread. And that's the problem. So I knew this was going to be an issue. And the people that were reluctant to comply with it, I was like, okay, well, just know the consequences are coming. I mean, because you can't put college kids in a bubble.
I'm telling you,
they're gonna rebel.
Right there. Well, especially this young, in college. But that's the whole thing. You're free. You rebel. You start. You're most of the time for the first time. It is, or most of the kids they're away from home for the first time.
Right.
And so they're.
Shawn, you got to put the fathers on the college campuses now. Like if you bring all the dads there, they'll set it off.
What are you talking about?
Like my girls to class not leaving tonight. Okay. It's nice knowing you. Nice knowing you. Okay.
She's not staying on campus. We have an apartment off campus, and I'll drive her to class. I'll be waiting there for her. And
that's right. Back. Shotgun, baby.
E-learning. I mean, this school's zoned e-learning, and there just should have been no fall sports because even professionally, you saw the only people that got this right was the NHL and the NBA, and it's because they bubbled it. They had to. You saw baseball had that spike because they didn't bubble. So they should have known that was going to be a problem. And this population is too, they don't listen. So
they're wild and free, and they think they can change the world, which is good because a lot of them can, but they also sometimes do their own thing far too much.
Yeah, that's a little too much, but whatever.
We gotta take another break, and on the other side of the break, we're gonna have more sports conversation. Joseph, thank you so much. We love having you every day, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. during our top of the morning segment, man. Tell everyone where they can find you. Let us know what you're writing about soon coming up.
Yeah, you guys can find me on ChicagoCrusader.com. Like I think I mentioned this on Monday's show. This week will be about the 3-game series between the Cubs and Sox. It'll be a breakdown of that. In addition to that, we'll be talking about the Chicago Football Classic, donating a 16-seat van to Habilitative Systems, Inc. And last but not least, we also did a piece on the South Side Wolfpack from Jackson Park, and that's Coach Ratcliffe over there. So if you could just check it out, it's positive stories. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it.
Oh yeah, because it wasn't his. It was his great grandfather.
Yeah,
was double duty.
Yeah,
Ratcliffe?
Ted Double Duty. Yeah, Ted Double Duty. Ratcliffe. His grandson Ernest Ratcliffe, coaching the Southside Wolfpack, and also he's the baseball coach at Morgan Park High School. So, he's doing great things in the community. He's always been an advocate in the community. I've known him for 20-something years. So,
Coach Ratcliffe was coaching when I was in high school.
Wow.
Before I was in high school.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So he's been there for a while, and he's done great things for baseball.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, check that out. It'll be out this week, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the story.
Cool. See you on Friday, buddy.
All right. God bless you guys.
All right, we'll be back right after this.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Line shot into right, coming in his angle, he's got the ball. And this one's over. And Lucas Giolito has thrown a no-hitter here at Guaranteed Rate Field. August 25th of 2020.
WGN with the call, the first no-hitter of the pandemic shortened season. Lucas Giolito leading the White Sox past the Pirates 4-0 the final. Giolito went the distance, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk on the day, improving his record to 3-2 overall.
2-1 fly ball, left field, way back in left. Got a chance. Goodbye.
Tigers radio with the call. Jonathan Scope with the grand slam. 7-1 the final over Chicago. The Tigers rallied with a 5-run 6th inning. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at BoomerNaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Whether class is in school, at home, or a little bit of both, school goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From lap desks to notebooks, noise-canceling headphones to UV sanitizers.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select marble comp books, 4-ounce Elmer's glue, and Staples dual-size pencil sharpeners are just 25 cents each.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/29, in-store only, limit 6, while supplies last, curbside available in most stores.
Hiring is challenging. Just ask Dylan Miskowitz, the COO of Cafe Altura.
We needed a director of coffee in order to move our products forward. It felt like we were looking for a needle in a haystack.
Dylan started using ZipRecruiter and found his perfect candidate in a few days.
We were very impressed with how quickly we had quality candidates apply through ZipRecruiter.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this Wild Out Wednesday. Oh, I'm feeling very Sox centric. I had a wardrobe.
I see. Did you have a change there? What the
wardrobe change? Yeah.
They
do it in the middle of concerts. They do it. We can do it here. Our boss said it was fine, so I said, okay.
That's true.
They're good peoples. Got them.
Very good.
We're talking a little Cubs baseball because don't forget at the bottom of the hour, Matt Southside Zoe himself, Matt Zawaski, is going to call in, talking a little White Sox. So we're going to talk with him at the bottom of the hour about the no. But go back to a little Cubs talk. You brought up a couple of good points, and we were talking. One of the things that I was disappointed with is I did want Q to start. I thought it would be better for him just because Tyler Chatwood has come out of the bullpen before. This I don't know if I guess I could say it. This would be the first, mistake that David Ross has really made. David Ross has had a lot of good moves, made a lot of great moves this year in his first year as manager, and he can't bat 1,000. All right, so I just think it would have been better to switch to flip flop him, had to Q to start the game, and let him go as far as he can. If he goes 3 innings, go 3. If he can go 5 innings, go 5, and then bring Chatwood in at that particular point because it seemed like he wanted to double team him or tag team him, okay, and have those two both pitch that game and just see however far Q could go. Chatwood again, he just imploded, and that's something as moving forward, especially in the short season, you can't have you got to be firing on all cylinders because there's not a lot of room for improvement, not a lot of room for error, I should say. Hi, Caddy. not a lot of room for error, and you got to find out who can do what. And Chatwood's a little more comfortable coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah,
it should have been that way.
That was the thing about me. To me, what I think was missed in that decision was the mental psychology of the game. Quintana is a starter. You know what I mean? He's not a guy who comes in middle relief. So you should put him back in what he is familiar with, that kind of, how you mentally prepare to, start the game, you walk on the field, you know what I mean? Opposed to stepping in behind somebody who's already, you know what I mean? So to me, you're right. That's the one thing I think David Ross didn't get right about this. I would have absolutely have started Quintana because it's his mentality, it's his preparation piece, all that goes into it that I think the outcome could have been different altogether. So, it allows him to get his rhythm established and sync opposed to picking up from someone else with their doing and their energy. So first mistake, but you know what? It's not that big of a deal. I mean, hopefully he realizes that it wasn't a good idea. And hopefully he talked to Quintana about how do you feel about that start? I don't know if Quintana would even say, I didn't like coming up behind that Buster Brown, but but you asked me, so I told you.
It doesn't matter what Q wants. So we were talking about putting him in middle relief anyway, coming back because he had a cut on his hand. So, and then we had Tyler Chatwood before he went down. He was pitching pretty good. So you have for a manager, you got to take a look at the guy who hasn't pitched at all this season and the guy who has pitched this season.
So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Which one's going to start? Which one's going to come out firing better? Well, obviously it wasn't.
Wait.
So you just kind of have to just take it as it is.
So here's my thing. This is about respect. This is about respect. And this is where that relationship between managers and players becomes, to me, really paramount. Don't you feel Quintana is a better pitcher than Chatwood?
I feel like he is a better pitcher than Chatwood.
Okay, wait.
Started the season. Wait.
First, that's the first question. So out of respect, don't you think he should have started?
No, because it was Chatwood's time in the rotation. That's respect. If it's a pitcher's time in the rotation and you say, hey, guess what? I'm going to take your start and give it to the guy who hasn't been starting at all.
But he was your starter last season. He wasn't starting because of
injury. But he was hurt. He's coming on hurt.
But that's my thing of injury. So the reason that Chatwood, who is the crossing guard again, and you saw that in his previous start, the only reason he was in the rotation was because Quintana could not be in the rotation. So now I'm back. And you want to
take him out of the rotation?
Okay, that's just me. See, that's breakup moves right there. That's breakup moves.
No. Alex Mills
yes, it is.
Alex Mills is in the rotation because Quintana was out of the rotation.
I'm just saying, Quintana should have started out of respect. He should have started out of respect. He should have.
You got to respect Chatwood. It's his time in the rotation.
No, you don't. You ain't got nothing to get that kind of respect.
If I go like this, if I go to Dallas Keuchel, hey Dallas, I know you.
Whoa, you can't. Look, I'm telling you something. Here's my point. This is why you start Quintana, because you didn't give up Cease. You didn't give up Jimenez because of Chatwood. You went to go get Quintana. That's why his ass should have been starting. You didn't give up those prospects.
He's coming off a last into the hand. The guy was. It's his spot.
Then he could have started.
If you want to take somebody out, Alex Mills, the guy that took over for Quintana, should be taken out.
Okay, either way, then this whole decision-making process was poorly done by Ross. Then
why? It's one game, and the guy needs to come back. It's his first game back. He needs to warm up.
This is the problem on the north side. You lack etiquette.
This is the problem on the north side.
You lack etiquette.
On the north side,
they don't know nothing about respect because they're not on the side. That's what it is. On the south side, this don't happen.
Chatwood's spot. It's his spot in the rotation.
It's his spot. It's his spot. You know nothing about respect. That's not
rotation. It's his spot.
Sorry.
Yes, it is. It's his spot in the rotation.
Go put your white stockings on and be quiet.
Mm-hmm. Where's your Cubs gear?
Still.
She said in the store. So that's one of the issues that the Cubs have, and the other one is the hitting. Okay, Chris Bryant is out, so he's not hitting. Javi Baez is hitting around the Mendoza line. Contreras is hitting very well, and they're very fortunate that the rest of the NL Central is not very tough this year. As of today, there's only one other team, and that's St. Louis, who's at 500 or better, and they're 10-9. Okay, so the Cubs are in a very. This is, if I were Ross, I'd be adamant about it because you're in a situation. I think right now the Cubs can just easily run away with this division because the rest of the division is weak. St. Louis has people who've opted out. Milwaukee has people who've opted out. Cincinnati.
Yes.
Cincinnati and Pittsburgh are Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, and they're going to be where they belong, and they're bottom of the pyramid material. Okay, let's just leave it at that. So this is a great time for the Cubs to, I would be a little upset if our Ross said like, hey guys, if we can, and granted, Chris Bryant's hurt, and you can't, injuries happen, but that doesn't mean that.
A little chest right there, John.
I was pulling the Eloy.
I didn't understand.
I was going to get caught up in the chair too, but that's another story.
If you get to a net to hang behind you,
do it.
Net.
Fall into a blanket.
Oh no!
You get caught up in the net. I'll do one segment caught in the net. Who am I?
That could be your Halloween costume. All you gotta do is get a White Sox jersey, get you a net, like hang a net, like get a net, and kind of like.
Oh my God! I think I might do that.
That's hilarious, Maya.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
All you gotta do is get you a Sox jersey hat, get you a little net configuration going behind you. Yeah.
Oh my God! Oh, especially if you get a Jimenez jersey too, because you can get those pretty cheap and walk around the net. That's awesome.
We get one of those fish head masks.
El pescado, yes.
El pescado, boom.
We do all day long.
So my question is this: how are they gonna? You're sitting pretty because of this division. Now you need to take advantage of it. You're playing Detroit again. You're off tomorrow, but then you're at the powerhouse of that's called Cincinnati. And we know Cincinnati kind of gives them the flux.
They do.
But man, you got to take you got Cincinnati and you got Pittsburgh. You got Detroit, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh in a 9-game set.
Right.
Come on, man. You got to win at least 6 of those, maybe 7. You know what I mean?
And what frustrated me yesterday was because they were in that game. It was 2-0 for a while, and then they gave up the grand slam. But the Cubs had runners on. They had the bases loaded with 1 out. They had the bases loaded with no outs. They had runners on. They got guys on base. Nobody could get over. How could you not get anybody over? I don't know if you tip your cap to the Tigers or not, but they made their pitches and the Cubs didn't get a hit. Now going forward, you got teams that you're supposed to beat. You got to beat them. There's no excuses here. And I know that Theo wants to go ahead, and he was talking about I think the other day he was talking about going after a lefty reliever and a lefty bat to hit lefties. So it's all about the left side right now. So I think if they go ahead and they make a move, depending on who the bat is, or if they maybe they go for broke and go after both of them, depending on who those players are. I think if you mix it up a little bit, like you did with Nick Castellanos last year, your offense might find some new life real quick.
So here's what you got to do: you got to win today to take the series,
right?
Yes.
Take 2 out of 3, and then you got to take 2 out of 3 of these next 2 series. You got to sweep 1. You got to take 2 out of 3 from the other one. You got to sweep 1. You got to take 2 out of 3 from the next one. So if they win the next 2, or they win today, then they win the next 2 and then lose, that's okay. They just need to sweep. Can you come out? You come out a 7-2 record from those 3 teams. Obviously, 9-0 is ideal. That's the most perfect this thing you could ask for. But a good record, 7-2, you come out of it. Yeah, 77% winning percentage out of those 3 teams. Yeah, you'll take that every day, and I think that could kind of right the ship a little bit and kind of hope. And maybe Javi's is starting to come out, like you said. He got the
He's been hitting the ball hard to the right side. His first home
was the White Sox. He had 2 homers the other day. He didn't do anything. He didn't do much yesterday. So, but obviously you can't do everything every day. So maybe Javi is starting to come out of his slump. And if Javi can come out of his slump, he can carry the team for 2 weeks. He can carry the team. And it'll give other people a chance, Contreras to get back in the flow and the rhythm of things, get Rizzo a chance to pick it up a little bit, and Ian Happ a chance to pick it up. Ian Happ has been playing very well.
Ian Happ has been playing very well.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah, he has.
I think
he scared me when he came up in the Sox series. He scared me.
I think he filled in for, if he's filling in for Bryant well on top of the lineup, and which is great, because then you can move Chris Bryant down in the lineup. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was feeling comfortable. As much as I think it was benefiting other hitters early in the season, I don't think Chris is totally comfortable at number 1.
No.
So if Ian Happ could find some comfortability there, put Ian Happ at 1, Chris at 2, and then just continue on down the line. But I think Chris Bryant being out is, regardless of his struggles, is bigger than anything, because that lineup sees more pitches. The other guys get to see better pitches when Chris is in there. You know what I'm saying? You're not scared of a Jason Kipnis right now, although he's playing decent for us. You're not scared of a Nico Horner.
Who would you rather pitch to, Kipnis or Brian? I'll pitch to Kipnis.
Who do you want to pitch to? You know what I'm saying? Even Ian Happ, for that matter. He's not an MVP. He's not a former MVP World Series champ. So I think Chris Bryant's presence, if anything, is affecting that lineup. Or lack of presence, excuse me.
Yeah, so moving forward, I think that's, Javi's really got to put the team on his back at this particular point. You are the face of the franchise. I think you're the most you're the heart and soul of that team, and it doesn't seem like he's coming out of it. But for the time being, for a while, it just didn't seem like he was. It seemed like he was going through the motions, and he wasn't bringing that Javi swag to the field, right? Because it's not just at the plate that he has that swag. Yeah. It's everywhere, running the bases. It's on defense. Okay, Javi just didn't seem to have it. Maybe he's starting to break out of that funk or so, whatever he was in. Because if he does, like I said, you're good for 2 weeks. Javi could carry that team for 2 weeks and kind of bring everybody else along. Another guy that I'm really concerned with is Contreras. He's got to get back up there, man. I mean, he's a very fiery player, and he's got to have some success. And he's got to start hitting. He's got to, I like him as a catcher. His framing, which I totally hate framing. It really annoys the bejesus out of me. But his framing has gotten better. Mm-hmm. His ability to call a game has gotten better. Mm-hmm. We all know about the offensive side of it, running the bases, enough pop. So he's got to come out of the funk. And, one of those guys has got to get hot. And hopefully it's Javi, since he's starting to warm up. If he can do that, keep that, get hot for 2 weeks before he kind of, ebbs or flows or ebbs a little bit, and while everyone else gets up, that's fine. But they need help from Contreras. They really need help from those big guys. And when one of your big guys is out, your other big guys really need to step up. And the other big guy who's not carrying his weight is Contreras.
Rizzo. And Rizzo. I mean, they're not all clicking right now for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Rizzo.
Because Rizzo, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to give a bypass because, everyone talks about Rizzo. So I'm like, okay, if you think about this, from what we have seen this lineup do in the past, if somebody's out, we have seen, Rizzo and Contreras and Baez, we've seen them pick this up and go. And then the support and Schwarber and the support cast around them kind of tie. This is the first year I can say, like, a lot of they always had that player tucked away they bring up that plays really well. You know what I mean? This has kind of been that first season. It's not like this, but this also isn't a typical season. So I get this. It can't always be the same. But there's something when I watch them, guys, there's something that's just not the same. And I just said we felt that we were seeing the same kind of behavior with Joe Madden. It was time to make a change. And I'm not saying this has anything to do with David Ross. I don't know if it's just the situation of this pandemic is weighing down on people, not having like a true spring training. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if it's just a collection of different things that are affecting their play. But just by sheer default, they're staying ahead of the game because of their division, which is good. But I don't know. It's like, and I'd also like to say this too. How does this end up? How do they navigate this? When you talk about Chris Bryant's contract coming along, and this was supposed to be that season, you know what I mean? That was going to be like, hey, does Chris Bryant stay in a Cub uniform, or do we play deal or not deal? You know what I mean? So to me, this complicates a lot of things, even looking forward in regards to what happens if he feels like the chemistry is just not the same being a Cub anymore. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if Chris is the one that's going to be moved.
Well, no, right, no, nothing right.
But he's one of them, and I would say all fingers are kind of pointing towards Chris Bryant. But I wouldn't be shocked if a dark horse got moved. If it was a Rizzo, or if it was a Baez, or you move a couple guys. I don't know, but yes, or Schwarber. As far as I know, is this lineup moves when Chris Bryant's on fire. When Chris Bryant's on fire, everybody's typically on fire because you can't pitch to the lineup. you know what I mean? Like once you get to the bottom, it's a little easier. But you got guys like you can't waste a hot streak like a Jason Hayward has. You can't waste you can't waste time. You can't waste series where you're supposed to win against teams that have no business playing with you. You know what I mean? That aren't going to be in the playoff picture. You got to win those games. But I mean, whatever it takes, I think they need to be a little more aggressive. I think they're being a little too lax at the plate and not going after pitches early in the count. Because you have to have a balance. I know seeing pitches is great, but if you're not attacking, what are you watching?
Here's the thing. I didn't like the idea of putting Bryant at the top of the lineup. I didn't feel he was a leadoff type hitter. Not that he can't do it, but I didn't feel that was the right chemistry. Be honest. I will always say you never should have dealt Dexter Fowler. That worked.
No, he walked. Didn't he walk? Yeah, he walked because he had 1 year. Yeah, he only had 1 year.
But I just feel like that's something that I didn't feel was the right fit. Now, mind you, he stepped up and did it, but I don't feel from a standpoint of what they have in regards to their talent. I'd rather see Chris a little further in the lineup, you know what I'm saying, than being the leadoff hitter because of what he could potentially do at the plate. So
you got to have people on base for him.
That's the other thing. I'm like, I feel like you're missing an opportunity to get. You may have 1 or 2 people on base, and then he comes. You know what I'm saying? So I never felt like he was the right fit to be the leadoff in the first place.
Right. They want their best hitter. I understand their best hitter gets the most at bats, but I don't think he's necessarily your best hitter.
But if he's your best hitter,
I think Rizzo is a better batter just because he takes better. He has the ability to get hit first and foremost. Like the ball just is magnetized to Rizzo, so you can get on base that way. He takes a walk, and he could just go and launch one if he wanted to, and he gets another at bat later in the game. I think a Rizzo might have been better off than a Chris Bryant because I feel Chris is comfortable when you leave Chris be.
But the problem with that is if he gets the most at bats, it's fine. But is there a chance for him to bring people in? You're 7, 8, and 9. These are the people he's supposed to be bringing in, and you're batting 7, 8, or 9 for a reason. Okay, for a reason. So it's I get you want your best batter to bat every time, but to bat the most times, it makes sense. But then when you do that, who's in front of him? Once the lineup goes through and turns over, the 8, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters are in front of them, and if they're not on base, you can't hit a 3-run homer with no one on base.
Right, but but you can start a rally on your own, being a leadoff hitter and getting on base.
To me, the leadoff hitter, their strongest skill set isn't so much that there's power as much as there's consistency and accuracy getting on base. So your best hitter to me and for that position doesn't mean it's the best hitter on your team, if that makes sense. And I just feel like if Chris Bryant is the best hitter on your team, I don't think he's appropriate for that position because, like you said, you want people on base for him. You know what I mean? So I just think that's something that they still have to figure out. And again, this is something different for David Ross. This is not his role. He's a catcher. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's watched that whole process happen repeatedly, like who comes up next, calling pitches, that kind of stuff. It'll be interesting. I would love to pick his brain when this is all said and done, especially from being a former catcher, to say, how much did you think about your lineup when you put people up there as a catcher? Because especially I know lineups they can be shuffled here and there, but when a pitcher's on a mound, you know what their strength is. You know what I'm saying? So they realize they're having some deficiencies like with lefties and things of this nature. It's like, I wonder how much thought he gives that on his nightly matchups about what's appropriate.
I think it's more than what Joe gave. I think I'll say that. That's what I can say.
Because Joe would mix stuff up all the time. He would.
It wasn't the same lineup. Like, how can guys ever get comfortable hitting if they don't know where the hell they're going to be today? You know what I mean? And for what reason?
Here's the thing. It's a mental thing to me because one thing you always know is where you're at on the field most of the time. Even though Chris is moving around here and there. But from a lineup standpoint, that really should be reflective of what the pitcher can do and how you can take advantage of that. So there has to be flexibility. And if they're struggling with that, that's a problem. I mean, it doesn't shift that much, but sometimes it might need to just to be advantageous to win because certain batters coming back to back against a certain pitcher could be a good thing. But I don't know. We won't know this until it's all over to kind of pick his brain to say, tell me a bit more about this. But Chris Bryant being out of the lineup, I will say this. I feel like that's a part of the issue. But there's something still flat about them as a team. I'm just not seeing.
I'm not saying what I saw in week 1. I'll say before the Cardinals series. Well, even the Cardinals series was kind of but before the Cardinals series, I didn't see that like there was pop. There was something else. Now it's kind of a flat line. You're kind of flattening out, and it's like
maybe
it's like you can't stay stagnant for too long.
Here's what it might be. So there's no fans.
Yeah,
I noticed there's no cutouts at Wrigley. So maybe
I didn't notice that. I thought they had it 1 week.
I didn't see the games unless I kept missing the angle. I don't see cutouts.
They're in Detroit.
Okay, Okay, so maybe they need more
cutouts.
Yes.
Well, Javi said that.
Have beers like this.
Yeah, they asked Javi if that affected him. He was like, "Well," he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, Javi, we could go get a couple old Puerto Rican guys from Humboldt Park with some congas, some a guitar or whatever, and we'll be outside Wrigley banging on the drum, making all types of noise for you."
Show up. I mean, if he needs,
I'll show up.
I'd be more than happy to have Javi.
I'm sure if Javi needed your support, you'd be there.
So, but I'm sure, honestly, because he seems like that energy for some people. That's right. That's right. I do believe that energy does make a difference. No, seriously, I think that crowd energy, that it kind of gets people. You know what I'm saying? So that is an adjustment that I think I take for granted in this, because some people seem like they've been okay with it. But think out, night in and night out, just nobody there. That kind of does have to suck after a while. Like just,
it's kind of a mind blow.
It's kind of, I would imagine
it would be.
You know, I know they like pumping sound, but it's not the same hearing all of people cheer and just boom.
You don't feel that energy. You don't get the energy from people.
Right. You know, so it's people will, I mean, you can't pump in the sound that naturally will happen, because people will clap at different times. They will boo. You know what I mean? You can't really emulate that the way that it really is. So I wonder for them, because let's be honest, from a fan standpoint, Wrigley does have that reputation of being like that type of stadium. You know what I mean? Like their fans get that kind of credit. So I'm just wondering for some of them if that absence of that fan base is something that they honestly truly miss. I mean, they'll probably never say it, but
I'm sure. Think about the NHL when they take off the commentary and the noise from the production. It's empty. You can hear the echoes of them cheering. You don't hear the horn going and the crowd going nuts. Like when a goal was scored, it was like, hey, all right, hey, high five, cool, all right, good job. And that was it. I can only imagine out in a baseball field with nothing, nobody, it's dead silent. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. And I have to say that I fully, when the Blackhawks were playing Edmonton and there was a hat trip, I think by McDavid had the hat trip, I think, when the girl ran down and threw out, I was like, you know what? That was needed.
That was so awkward.
I was like, that was needed. She was like throwing the hats. I was like, hey, somebody gave it some forethought. I'm like, good for her just for having the hats to do it. But I don't know. They're just flat, and I don't know what it is, and I'm not sure what's going to motivate them. But I'll tell you, this will be that part for David Ross that he has to figure out. He has to figure out, because, Joe would be all over this. Like, I got to tinker with their brains. So now David Ross has to figure out how he's going to tinker with their brains to make them get more motivated. Because what I feel like I'm seeing is a lack of motivation. Not so much. There's talent. We know it. And it can click at any time, even if Bryant isn't in the lineup. So something here to me isn't working. I don't know what it is.
So hopefully, before we go to break, hopefully for them, what they got to do is maybe this is their ebb, okay, and then they start flowing again. Maybe this is their streak, their downtime. There's a lot of ups and downs in a regular baseball season, and in this shortened season, you can't have any, because if you do, it could put you behind the eight ball. They had a nice lead, and maybe this is coming at the right time, or maybe they're struggling, and now after this, once they break through, now they're back to playing the ball that got them into first place, and it helps a lot that the division that they're playing is very, very weak. In addition to two of the teams in the NL and the AL Central as well, hopefully for them they can get it turned around, because they have a nice lead, and they can kind of coast and kind of keep everybody at bay just by taking 2 out of 3. So we'll see. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. Then the other side of the break, our man Southside Zoe himself, Matt Zawadzki, is going to come on board, and we're going to talk a little no. We're going to talk a little Tim Anderson, almost throwing that one away. Oh, that would have been bad. We're going to talk Adam Engel. We got a lot of White Sox talk coming up next, so don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Southside Zoe joining the crew a little bit right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Line shot into right, coming in his angle, he's got the ball. And this one's over. And Lucas Giolito has thrown a no-hitter here at Guaranteed Rate Field. August 25th of 2020.
WG with the call, the first no-hitter of the pandemic shortened season. Lucas Giolito leading the White Sox past the Pirates 4-0 the final. Giolito went the distance, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk on the day, improving his record to 3-2 overall.
2-1 fly ball left field way back in left. Got a chance. Goodbye.
Tigers radio with the call. Jonathan Scope with the grand slam. 7-1 the final over Chicago. The Tigers rallied with a 5-run 6th inning. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330-95.9 The Zone.
Whether class is in school, at home, or a little bit of both, school goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From lap desks to notebooks, noise-canceling headphones to UV sanitizers.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select Marble comp books, 4-ounce Elmer's glue, and Staples dual-size pencil sharpeners are just 25 cents each.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/29, in-store only, limit 6, while supplies last, curbside available in most stores.
Hiring is challenging. Just ask Dylan Miskowitz, the COO of Cafe Altura.
We needed a director of coffee in order to move our products forward. It felt like we were looking for a needle in a haystack.
Dylan started using ZipRecruiter and found his perfect candidate in a few days.
We were very impressed with how quickly we had quality candidates apply through ZipRecruiter.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Nobody's here to watch, but everyone at home has their hearts in their throats. On 0-2 to right field, Adam Engel is there! A no-hitter! The 19th in White Sox history!
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning, and that was Jason Panetti on the call from NBC.
Being extra. My heart was not in my throat.
Mine was. It's because and I know he's not your guy, but just to be able to do that, Maya, is so
okay. We'll let Zoe talk about this.
Well, we'll bring our guy on because I know he's got a word or two to say about it. Hey, it's a good friend. He's a good friend of the program. He's from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. He is a St. Rita grad. Southside Mustangs. Go Rita, go! And you can find him on Twitter at Southside Zoe. Guys, let's welcome back Shawn and Maya, Matt Zawoski. Matt, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey guys, how you doing? I wish there was something to talk about with the White Sox. They just haven't been doing anything lately. This is going to be kind of boring.
Yeah, we got some Ricky decisions, I guess. Because
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like it's not like they hit 4 home runs back to back to back to back, and then it's not like they just had a guy hit 4 home runs in 4 straight at bats, and it's not like they just had a guy pitch a no hitter, and it's. I mean, I wish all that stuff happened in the last week. Oh, but it did. It's been fun.
We can always talk of fact that Eloy can't stay out the net and he twisted his ankle celebrating. So there's always, something.
Yes, we just got the very good news that Eloy is starting today.
Oh, Jesus! So he just tweets. We told him not to twerk, but he was going to do it anyways.
Why he twerking on the mound, fool?
He's such a goofball. Oh man, and I love Eloy, his energy and his just happiness, and I think it's a big part of that team, and and the fact that he's hitting over 300 and hitting bombs. But be as goofy as you want, man. Have as much fun as you want. You get paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game. Just be goofy and don't get hurt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Stay out of the net.
Hey, Maya came up with a phenomenal idea of a Halloween costume. Get a men's jersey and get a net behind you. And
but everyone will know, like, oh, you got to be Eloy. You must be Eloy.
That would be
no.
That would be awesome.
Yes, it would be. That's classic. That could be, and that's why we've nicknamed here, and we've heard it here first on Shawn and Maya in the morning. We call him El Pescado. That's the fish because he gets caught in the net all. We have La Pantera, we have El Pescado. El Pantera, Pito, and El Pescado.
The best part is I know he would love that. He would think it was hilarious. I'm sure if you threw it at him he's a big Instagram guy. If you threw it at him on Instagram, he would probably repost it in his story. He loves that.
Oh, then we got it.
Yeah, you guys should definitely do that. So, but hey, what a time to be a White Sox fan, huh?
Well, it's coming together. It was a little rough in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I think the only thing for me right now that hasn't quite materialized what we thought, and it seemed like it was coming, was Encarnacion. It seemed like he was heating up a bit, and then he kind of went a little flat again. But it seems like everything else, Moncada obviously is hurt. You can tell. Mm-hmm. You can tell the struggle. But other than that, everything else seems to be playing out the way we would like for it to.
Yeah, absolutely. And Edwin is a notorious slow starter. He has been his whole career. But he always hits 30 home runs every year. So he always finishes strong. But unfortunately, with the 60-game season, we do not have the luxury of a slow start. And also, I hate saying this, but we got to kind of call it what it is. Edwin's not getting any younger. I personally think one of the most joys I have this season is watching him chug around the bases, especially when he scored from first in that game in Detroit. I almost fell out of my chair laughing because he looked like a lot of us playing 16-inch softball on the south side trying to live our glory days and score from first. But yeah, Edwin, I mean, he's definitely at the end of the stick. The slow start, and again, with every game basically counting for 2.5 games, these are pretty valuable at bats. And with that being said, the White Sox do have the luxury of being able to catch Grandal and then have McCann DH or the other way around. And both Grandal and McCann have been hitting fairly well this year. The other thing that a very loud, vocal portion of White Sox Twitter is calling for is the emergence of Andrew Vaughn from Schaumburg to get some at-bats as a DH, and also to maybe spell Pito at first base and let Pito DH. But the thing is, this is Jose Abreu's best defensive season of his career. So I don't know if you pull him off the bag right now. And we can get into Jose Abreu. I'm head over heels, and I have so many good things to say about him. But I wouldn't mind seeing Andrew Vaughn. So apparently, everything right now is computers, science, numbers, exit velocity, spin rates, all of that fun stuff. And according to metrics and basically just the available technology that's out there in Schaumburg, Andrew Vaughn is basically destroying baseballs at an alarming rate. So much so that now that this information is all public and easy for people to access, that I can understand people being like, well, what is he doing in Schaumburg? He's playing scrimmage games against, AA and AAA pitchers where we've already played those fun service time games, a la Nick Madrigal. But what would it hurt? Maybe give Edwin 2-3 games off, especially with this upcoming stretch of schedule. Mm-hmm. If you were going to try something, right now is the time to try something. And I think we saw some of that last night with Moncada batting fifth. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I like Edwin. I think Edwin's had a great career. He seems like a great guy. And that's, another key aspect of what's going on is the chemistry. It kind of reminds me of the Pirates in the 70s, the We Are Family team. Mm-hmm. Just because you see these guys getting so juiced for each other and just up and going and everything. And it really does. Like last night, when that thing happened, I still don't even want to say it because I feel like I'm going to jinx it even though it already happened. But when that thing happened last night, like I felt like I was watching like my cousins like celebrate something. Like I felt like I was like part of that. And a lot of us that have been with this team through
100 losses.
Yeah, these non-ideal times, and with the invention of, Twitter and this community coming so close together because of social media and stuff like that. Like, it felt really special last night. And I think that's one of the reasons why this team is going in the direction they're going, is just because they're just, for lack of a better term, they're vibing. And you can see it. And I guess that's a long answer, but yeah, I want Andrew Vaughn to bat for Edwin and Carciano.
To me, it makes sense. At some point, we have to take into consideration there are still pieces to this puzzle that have not been brought up. And we know that Encarnacion and even Mazzaro were never meant to be long-term solutions for the team. So at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't hurt to bring him up, like you said, and to give Edwin some days off just to see what you have. Because I think if we don't work those pieces into the puzzle to see how they fit in, this is the season to do that. I mean, granted, I know it's probably now, but wait a minute, something's happening and we could make a run for this, which would be insane, because I will not speak it. I will not say anything about any championship stuff, because that's just, to me, not playoffs. Yes, I think that's possible. But the way this season is shaking out, if the pitching can find the rhythm and stay consistent, that to me changes everything, because I was starting to feel that the pitching was really the Achilles heel of the team. It wasn't so much the bats, but if the pitching finds that rhythm, and I finally got to see what was my second love. My first love was Michael Kopech. So of course I was super sad he didn't come back, but I get why he's not here. Go get your stuff together, because that would be distracting. But my next person I was waiting to see, and it took forever, was Dane Dunning. And by the way, he was everything I knew he would be. I watched him at Florida, and I'm like, this kid. The thing I like about Kopech and Dunning is they have mound presence. The way they think, they're methodical. They make a mistake, they shake it off. The next pitch is just that, the next pitch. When I tell you we have a first goal problem with pitchers, it's a good problem to have, though.
No, definitely. And I've been a pretty big advocate for Dane to come up. I am also a Gators fan, so I definitely have watched him. And you talk about mound presence, his major league debut, he gets 2 balls shot at his face with over 100-mile-an-hour exit velo, and he snags both of them with a smile on his face. He has a very contagious smile, too.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, he's easy on the ice. But
I'm glad you admit that. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. I've been married for years. I'm good. He's got like that whole nerdy chic thing going on. But
yes.
No, and he's another great story, almost like Giolito. Giolito was the worst pitcher in baseball 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about all-star games and no-hitters. But Dane Dunning was such a high prospect in the Nationals system, and then the injury bug just dug its teeth deep into that poor boy. And to see him come back, his changeup looked great. His breaking stuff looked awesome. And that made up for a little bit of lack of velo, but that's going to happen. And the way the game's going now, velocity really does, I mean, it matters, but not as much as it used to. So no, that solves a problem, because on the flip side of things, Ray Lopez, I mean, I'm cool with the Ray Lopez, Gio Gonzalez, like 2-headed monster, but you can't be paying guys starter money to be an opener and a mid guy. And so, I mean, there is something that they're going to have to look into. Luckily, and knock on wood on this one, luckily the bullpen has way outperformed all expectations. I mean, come on. I'm one of the biggest White Sox fans out there. I didn't know who Matt Foster was going to do this year. Like some kid from Alabama, which, by the way, Matt Foster, if your aunts and school teachers are watching this, I was not making fun of you. They came at me on Twitter. I was not making fun of you. It was a tongue. Yeah, it was a tongue. Because they kept saying on the broadcast over and over again how he's from Alabama. He's from Alabama. Every other word was he's from Alabama. So I just tweeted out like, hey, where did Matt Foster go to school? Just joking around. And his mother, his auntie, his school teacher, they all got in my mentions being like, he's from Alabama. I'm like, I know. I was just joking around, ladies. Wow. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure they were just excited, but I think someone was Twitter searching their own name. But but he's been a star. Cody Hewer's been awesome. There's just been so much going on with this bullpen, and then you got to think Bummer's hurt.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Bummer was lights out. That's your lefty. Ross Deltweiler went from the running joke on White Sox Twitter, it was like, this guy's a whatever, to he's next to lights out.
You finished it off with Colome?
Who, I mean, that guy's a heart attack in a uniform, but still, it's
you got to get him in high leverage, high leverage situations. When there's no pressure on, dude. It's you talk about if I had hair, I'd pull it out. When there's no one, when there's only when there's a 1 or 2 run lead, then he's zeroed in and focused. But when he came in and they're up 3 or 4, something like that, you're like, dude, get it together. He's just all over the road because there's no sense of urgency there. So, but I do hear you. I do agree with you. He's not as clean, but he gets it done. He just takes us to the brink of a heart attack in the process of getting it done. Hey guys, we're joined by Matt Zawoski from the Pins and Wheels, Pin Wheels and Ivy podcast. Let me say that once again. Pin Wheels and Ivy podcast, talking a little White Sox baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. How much credit are you giving Ricky Renteria? Because when I was telling Maya this morning, I'm like, man, I said what really sucks is like, I still want Ozzie, but I can't. With Renteria doing this with the boys, especially if they, get that second spot in the division, or God willing, because they're only a game and a half out of the top spot. You take the division, because we face the Twins on Monday. You can't you can't, or maybe you can. But Ricky Renteria started to earn a lot more of my respect than he had, because he's finally got the team. Okay, everyone's there. Minus Dane Dunning, but Dane's just in Schaumburg. But minus that, he's got everybody there, and they're in second place.
And second place with a very favorable stretch of schedule coming up, where a month from now we could be easily talking about the first place Chicago White Sox. But I've never been a Ricky basher or defender. Put it that way. I've always kind of been like, is Ricky
when it comes to Ricky?
Yeah, and I mean, in 2020, the Major League Baseball manager is a lot different than it was 10, 15 years ago, where Ricky doesn't just sit down and write down a lineup. That's not what happens anymore. Not even just on the White Sox, on any team. There's analytic guys. There's front office decisions into it. There's all kinds of stuff. And it's not the days where he just sits down and is like, I'm sure he has a lot of impact on it, but it's not just all on him. Now, so far this year, the lineups have been, I've had no real problem with it. I mean, keeping TA in the leadoff spot has definitely shown its value, and I think he's been handling Luis Robert very well as well. And the one thing that does come into question when it comes to Ricky is when to, give a guy the hook. We saw a little bit of that with Dylan Cease and Wrigley recently. A lot of people were clamoring for him to get in there, and some people think Dylan was in an inning too long. But what I think when it comes to that, and I think I've said it on this show, I know I've said it on my show a bunch of times, those guys love Ricky. That team loves Ricky, and part of it is because of he speaks the same language, which I think sometimes that gets overlooked, but
big time, yeah.
It helps a lot to have a manager that speaks Spanish when 90% of your team speaks Spanish. But I mean, like, you have Tim Anderson, and I know TA is a little over the top, especially when the camera's on, but you got TA looking at the MLB camera saying, hey, make sure you get my manager in the shot. He's the best manager in baseball. And you could see, I mean, he was in tears last night talking about Lucas Giolito. And again, I think this goes back to the whole family vibe with this team. And you might not agree with all of Ricky's managerial decisions. I don't think you'll ever find a manager where a fan is like, he makes all the right moves. Because, I mean, even on the north side of town, when they're winning a World Series, I know for a fact I can talk to Cubs fans, and they're still upset about how Chapman was used in the World Series. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you won the ring, and you're still
leave it alone.
Yeah,
leave it alone. but he almost lost it for us. He almost lost it.
And it's just that comes with the territory. It's the what's the old saying in Chicago? Who are the most famous athletes in Chicago? The backup quarterback, the backup goalie, the guy who's going to replace the manager. Those are the most famous guys in Chicago sports at all times. And I'm good with Ricky. Ricky's got my favorite team right now at 600.
Right.
In position to make a move. These guys respect Ricky. They look to Ricky for guidance. And to your point, Shawn, he does have the horses now. There's no more excuses. I mean, I think what came out last night? They had like a 94% chance of making the playoffs now. So, I mean, if you don't make the playoffs, you really but for me, a successful season for this team, and I understand this is the window opening season. Like you're just starting them. You know, everybody loves this proverbial window. Making the playoffs is cool. A successful season for me is getting out of the first round of the playoffs. Okay, and then next year I'm talking about AL titles, and that depends on what they do in the offseason because we need pitching and a right fielder, mainly a right fielder. But
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm good with Engel, dude. I'm good with Engel. He's hitting the ball much better. I don't expect him to be a 300 hitter. I'm not expecting him to hit 700 home runs. I'm expecting him to cover ground. And I think 1 through 8, if you take Engel out, 1 through 8, we got guys who can hit. We got guys. We have power. We have some guys with power and speed. We got a Nick Madrigal when he comes back because right now Mendick is my goodness. He's been playing phenomenally at second base. And then you got Nick Madrigal who's there when he comes back. I'm okay with not having one. You know, where Adam Engel right now is he's at 260. I'm sorry, 264.
Yep.
He was batting in the ones 2 years ago.
I'm an Engel fan. I am. He definitely knew his glaring deficiency was his at-bats. And he improved it. It was. With God, he was showtime legitimately when he's on the field. But last year was awful. I was like, oh, this poor guy, he's too talented. He's improved. Like you said, if he stays within that hitting range, he's 280. Everybody's not going to be a 300 hitter on the team. I accept that. But his role, I mean, he's made some plays like what he did last night that helped Giolito get that no-hitter. Other people might have missed that.
Oh, they would definitely miss that.
It came off the bat. I was like, Shawn, the way it came off the bat, the trajectory of it, I was like, oh.
I swear, I cursed.
And then there it is. And so Engel has a different type of value to me, and I'd like to keep him. But obviously, if he gets dealt, I mean, we're not gonna cry over spilled milk. But I do think
for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's
maybe 10.
So tell me this. So give me your thoughts about those pieces that we can't say we were necessarily. I mean, we were looking for Madrigal, which I'm still lukewarm on. I'm still not in love. I mean, that's just. Yeah, I guess okay. Breathe. No,
that's a guy.
I know. I'm not though. I'm still just not in love. But I'm also one of those people that's not in love with Giolito. So I'm not in love with him. But I'm not saying I'm anti. I'm just not as wrapped into it. But talk about him. Talk about Mendick. Talk about these other little pieces that, believe it or not, do have an important role when you talk about being those utility players that fill in. How are you feeling about how Rick Hahn did with that? Making sure that there's supplemental players to kind of help work through this lineup.
Yeah, he's doing a lot with arguably this team's biggest weak spot, which was depth. So to have a guy like Danny Mendick show up for second base, which Mendick's been good. I mean, his defense is all right. It's getting the job done. He's getting it done at the plate, but the role that I see Mendick in is basically what Lurie Garcia was. He's going to be like your utility guy, your coverall guy. You actually brought it up when I first came on, Maya, when you said Moncada's hurt, which we all, I mean, come on.
We know it.
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV, and yeah, he's hurt. But so that's why Madrigal's not up today. They already put out today's lineup, but I think he'll be up by the end of the week. So you get Madrigal back at second base, and then you can have Mendick to give Moncada maybe a couple days off. So that's good. Mendick's been fine. And when I do it's just because I love Madrigal so much. I don't want people taking away my Danny, and it's Madrigal spot. It's Madrigal spot. Mendick knows he's a utility guy. Larry Garcia is done for the season. That's why you don't slide headfirst into first base, kids.
I know. And I like Larry Garcia. Okay, well, so tell me this. What is the magic about Madrigal that I'm just not all bought? What am I not buying into yet? What have I not seen that's going to make me feel differently?
I just like how he plays baseball. Okay, it's a very very, if you're like a fundamentals person or like a person that just likes, like pure, he's going to take balls the other way. He's going to be able to put that bunt down. He's going to move the runners over. He plays gold glove defense. He doesn't strike out. He works deep counts. He's got plus speed on the base path. Did I mention gold glove defense? And then, it's just, he's very humble. Very soft-spoken kid, nice kid. His brother's actually on the White Sox now too on the farm system. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin's my co-host.
I thought someone was giving you like this shameless plug because you're not supposed to tell that. So
yeah, it's funny though because it's Kevin, so it's funny. He's just mad because he had to chug all them beers for the Cubs losing. That was our show bet.
Okay.
But actually, working with Kevin has made my love for Madrigal grow. Kevin is actually one of the most well-respected, biggest high school baseball coaches in Las Vegas.
Okay.
His star pupil, you might have heard of him. His name is Chris Bryant. Kevin was his coach.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. And still a good friend of the family. So Kevin brings Kevin brings a great knowledge to our show. And part of it, he definitely hasn't yet, but he almost got me convinced that bunting has a part in baseball. I mean, that's how much fundamentals he brings to the table. I hate bunting.
Okay. Yeah. It does have a place.
It does. Time and a place.
It does.
But Nick Madrigal, I think, you need a Nick Madrigal on a World Series team. You need a guy who is going to play damn near flawless defense for you, who's going to get on base. And in this lineup where 1 through 8 is going to go over the fence, I prefer a 2-run home run over a solo shot. And Nick's a guy that's going to get on base. He's going to be great in that 9 hole. That way you can keep TA as the 1. So now you got Nick getting on base and then TA, Moncada, Abreu. You know what I mean? So he fits. He's that guy. And I fell in love with the way he plays the game. A lot of people, when he was coming up, especially in, reports and everything, just baseball IQ off the charts. I think he's just a guy that's needed on a championship team, especially on a team where you have the ability to hit 4 home runs in a row, or you know what I mean? So that's what I like about Nick Madrigal. And don't get me wrong, and people like to come at me for this, but Danny Mendick has far exceeded expectations this year. Danny Mendick is holding it down. I will give him that 10 out of 10 times. I just think he does have a little bit of a minus defense, and I think he's a great utility guy. You need a Danny Mendick on your team as well because of this sprint of a season where you're playing literally every day. You need guys that can come in and give guys a spell. And now people are starting to talk, can Danny Mendick play the outfield? And the other name Shawn, Maya, when I come on your show, I love to throw out these weird theories because if I say I'm on my show, I'm going to get yelled at by Kevin. But I think the last time I was on the show, I told you how I want Michael Kopech and Carlos Rodon to be bullpen pitchers. But we can get back to that next year.
Yeah.
But, especially Carlos Rodon. Stay healthy for a week, and we'll talk about being a starter.
No. I'm cool. I've said I feel like he could have a good place as middle relief. He just doesn't have good bones. He can't be a starting pitcher. So absolutely, I could see him in that role.
Like Andrew Miller.
But
give me a solid 3 innings from Rodon, and we're good.
Yeah, but no, we can't do that now.
So here's a fun one for you to think about because this is how my brain works. I won't give you the full access because I don't think we got enough time. But remember Jake Berger?
Yep.
Yes.
My Achilles not broke once but twice. Snap.
Yep. Fully healed in Schaumburg now.
Mm-hmm.
Lost a lot of weight. still got like that big guy face, but he lost a lot of weight. He looks like the Lemonhead dude. Sorry, you can't take me out of the South Side. I'm sorry. I try to be professional when I do this stuff, but it just comes out. But he's moving really, really well. And the White Sox have an all-star at third base, and there's really no room for him. It was actually brought up to him by, my guy Chuck Garfien, love Chuck, and asked him, if the White Sox asked you to play right field, would you do it? He didn't even hesitate. He didn't even blink. Yes, 100%. I'm ready. Put me in. Now, the reason Jake Berger was drafted by the White Sox wasn't for his play at third base. Actually, when he was drafted, some people, this was before Vaughn, this was before Edwin, this was before everything. People thought he might be Abreu's successor at first base, DH, because he's a big boy. But now he lost the weight. He's moving really well. Some people might want to give him a shot in right field just to get his bat in the lineup.
Yeah, how is he? How does he play? What's this? Has he played the outfield before? Balls coming off.
Right.
Coming at you. You got to be able to get some good jumps. Is he? He may have lost weight, but it doesn't mean he's fast. Is he quick?
Oh yeah, he's fast.
Jumps? So
he's fast. I got to see him field ground balls, but I didn't think Andrew Vaughn could play third base either. And then he played in the preseason. He was out there playing third base, scooping balls. Would I want him to play third base in a playoff game? No, but I'm just saying they got these young kids, and some of the best players, start to come up in one position, and then they have great careers in another. So, again, if you're going to try something, this has been the weirdest year in the history of mankind. You might as well throw Jake Berger in right field and see what happens.
I'm not opposed to it. I mean, this is the thing. This is a season that you can do that kind of stuff and kick the wheels and see what you have, and you can be unconventional. I feel like, especially for the White Sox, if you want to be experimental, this is a great time to do it. I mean, I'm like you. World Series is not in my vocabulary. If that happens, I'm going to freak out. But it's not what I'm expecting. I do believe playoffs, be competitive. I'd like to see them advance past it. But the matchup piece, it depends on who they get matched up against.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, if there's some things you need to try out to figure out what you have, because let's be honest, also putting somebody out there, because everyone's not going to remain on the team. You're going to maybe package somebody out to go get something else you need.
Like a Jake Berger.
So you might give him some time to showcase him.
Mm-hmm.
You may be putting him and Ray Lopez together. I'm
not going to stop you. I'll drive dude to the airport. I'll even drive him to O'Hare.
I mean, we know that for all the prospects we have on this team, everybody can't stay.
Mm-hmm.
We know part of the reasons you bring in prospects is not that they all matriculate up to the majors, that you may use them, put them together to get a bigger piece to your puzzle. Even though right now it's a lot of things we have, it works. So why not try? I'm not opposed to it. I mean, if you've got them and you draft, you want to see what you have. So why not? Yes. I don't think it's crazy.
So, first, guys, we're joined by Matt Zawadzki from Southside Zoe. From the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. I want to talk to you what Kevin said, and because this is what I said. We talked about, you mentioned bunting, and here's one of the things that I have an issue with is that they don't do that. Okay, you have guys who have the speed, and especially remember Tim Anderson was he on Twitter or no? He was on the podcast, the Sox podcast.
Tim Anderson's on everything.
Yeah, he's the man. But he said he wanted him number 1, Yoel Moncada number 2, and Lou Bob number 3. Phenomenal. And he said, we just move everybody down 1, Pito number 4, and so on and so forth. So my thought is that, and here's why I say this, is I want them to incorporate small ball, not on a regular basis, but on a semi-regular basis, because this team, you have the speed. You have Tim Anderson, you have Yoel Moncada, you have Luis Robert. Okay, all these guys can, once they're, first of all, you saw him beat the double play, yes, Lou Bob the other day, slipping out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
He slipped out of the box, and he still beat the throw. So you have guys here who can do that. Why not use that? And again, not every day, maybe once a week, once every 10 days. Okay, but you're going to need to lay down a bump, because when you come into it, when you deal with a pitcher like when we faced Yu Darvish, because Yu Darvish was dealing.
Mm-hmm.
He was in another zone.
Yeah,
you got to get to him. You got to get a man on base. You can't just wait for him to get to the bullpen, because if you don't get to the bullpen because it doesn't come out, you're screwed. I want to see more. I want to see them implement that more. I want to see them bunt more. Okay, maybe Tim Anderson leads off in the 6th inning. All right, the Sox are up 4 or 3 or whatever. Lay down a bunt, get some practice in it, because there's going to come a time when you need it, when you need a runner on base. And why not manufacture one when you have the guys? Because in 5 or 6 years, Tim's not going to have the same speed. Yoel Moncada's not going to have the same speed. Luis Robert may probably still have the same speed. The other 2 guys won't, but that's one way you can still win a game, because baseball games are still 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 in today's game.
Right, and I don't think anyone thinks that 20 runs in a row via the home run is a sustainable business model for any baseball team.
No.
I was very happy to see on I don't even know what's today, Wednesday. On Tuesday night, this week has been crazy. On Tuesday night, Luis Robert go 3 for 4 with 3 solid plate appearances and 3 solid at-bats. And one thing that we've talked about almost ad nauseum on our show, and it's extremely, yes, Kevin, we all know you like bunting. I told you he likes bunting. Is Luis Roberts still trying to figure out that major league slider? He leads, I think at last I saw he was number 1 in the league, first pitch swinging. And I think part of that was because he wants to get up there and he wants to hit that first pitch fastball. And if you throw a fastball up to Luis Robert right now, you're going to have a bad time. He just hits the ball so hard. I'm sorry, I laugh just because he's like a superhero. He's like Black Panther, Flash, and like Hulk rolled up into one. He's unbelievable. And he's ours for like 10 years. It's great. But yeah, you got to incorporate more manufactured runs. That's where I bring in again a guy like Nick Madrigal. We saw Nomar Mazara try to bunt. I think it was against the Cubs. It looked like Bambi trying to walk. It was just painful. There's not too many guys. You can't really ask Tim Anderson to bunt right now because he's one of your hottest hitters, but he's the type of guy that needs to bunt. Yoel Moncada has 1 leg right now, so he's not bunting. Then you can get to the bottom of the order, like the Ingles, the Mendix. Those guys should be laying down, but I do want to see a little bit more manufactured run, base hits, hit and runs. There's nothing more sexy in baseball than a well-executed hit and run. Sacrifice flies, just making sure that with a runner on second, you're hitting the ball to the right side of the field so that runner could advance to third. Just basic baseball fundamentals, and the Sox have that in spades, and I'm not really too worried about it because what's a lot easier than doing all that? Hitting the ball 460 feet. And if they can keep doing that, hey, more power to you. And this lineup is just, it looks like a video game. Like, it really does. And I think the expectations that we had going into this, and I know I was on the show when it was, negative 10 degrees outside, and we were talking about these high hopes for all these guys. I think we're finally now seeing it come to fruition, and it's exciting. It's interesting. But White Sox baseball is appointment television again, because what are they going to do? They can hit 9 home runs today against Pittsburgh. I don't even know this guy pitching for Pittsburgh today. I think he filled up the air in my tire 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
so,
man, no.
We
were like back at full service gas stations, like, hey.
Just tires, discount tires. Yeah, I got that kind of money. I have discount tires.
It's Trevor Williams. He's 1-4 with a 3.70 ERA. So hopefully it's tee off. I'll tell you what. One of the best things that happens though is when the Cubs Cardinal game that series got postponed, and the White Sox were replaced on the national on the ESPN broadcast.
Oh yeah,
and it opened a lot of people's eyes. It put them on center stage, and they were knocking the ball all over the place that game, and people are starting to realize. I mean, we knew it here. We know, because no one knows. No one knows the draft picks. No one knows but you for your own team. And
right.
We saw them. We saw them grow. We saw how many times were they having Charlotte Knights games last couple of seasons. You know what I mean? We saw them grow up. Nobody else in the country saw them grow up and knew who we had. They heard about it. Sox got a great minor league system, but they didn't think about it. Now they're here.
But what's interesting? a lot of broadcasts that I was checking out, because I watch other teams play all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, the White Sox were slid into a lot of conversations about a young, talented team, things that were going on. But you're hearing it more. But even before the season started, I would catch that here and there, that there was an expectation that finally they were going to be better. And I'll be honest, I think even though I'm not a Giolito person, his performance kind of put, this guy, blah, blah. I mean, so people were talking about, like when Kopech, people talked about that. I mean, so I think it was always on the radar, but for it to come together, which, I say thank God for Rick Hahn and thank God for putting Kenny Williams in the back seat, because I couldn't take him anymore. If he was still calling shots, we would not be where we are right now. I'm just going to say that. I'm sorry. But it's so interesting that so many pieces to this puzzle are just falling into place the way that they should. So we have good problems. And when you talked about Ricky, I'm going to say it. I just never felt like he was that guy, but if he can manage to not mess this up, then I'm going to have to go along with this and be okay with it, because he's proven that you give him the pieces to the puzzle and everybody is coming up and they're playing well. So I don't think that we have a right, despite how we feel about Ozzy, to feel that Ricky can't accomplish it. He just has to show me that he can do this. But it'll be interesting to see. Here's the thing I don't think he does well, though. They may love him, but I don't know that he manages personalities really well. Because somebody sometimes needed to tell, Luis Roberts, hey, stop. Even with Eloy,
in front of your other outfielders.
Stop doing that. Because Luis Garcia wasn't real happy about that one day. And he let him know. Tell Eloy, stop jumping his ass in the net.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows how to approach those conversations with them necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that piece maybe is not his strongest suit. But overall, I think we're in a good position, and especially right now in the season, like I said, when they play the Twins, that's the game I'm watching. That's what I want to see. How will they play? I need them to walk into that game with a chip on their shoulder, with an intention that we want to win the series. We want to sweep you, because let's be honest, that's that team they have to meet. This is how the Bulls had Detroit. This is like the White Sox, their team they have to beat. And from a talent standpoint, to me, I feel like they have it as long as pitching shows up. Talk to me about Keuchel. Speaking of pitching, I wanted Keuchel last year. I was hashtagging call Keuchel. I felt like they needed a veteran pitcher to put into this mix. James Shields was painful for me. I think he gave me an ulcer.
He's the gift that keeps on giving. Is every time you see Tatis on ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It was like
herpes.
God, not anyway. I really here's what's weird. I know we brought Keuchel here for leadership, but the strange thing is, I feel as good as he has been for us, I think we have been equally as good for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he was, what is he, 5 years removed?
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. Injuries and then the roller coaster. He did his thing in Atlanta, but not to the scale that we're seeing this year. And, you could tell he needed to, I would say a fresh start, but he's around a team right now full of young guys with a lot of energy that is on the upswing, and you need these veteran leaderships. And Keuchel was the one that I've always been a Dallas Keuchel fan. I'm right with you. I wanted him last year as well. But I became a really, really big fan after he came out. That game was like, guys are going through the motions. We need to be better.
Yes.
Bingo.
And I was like, okay. I was like, that's cool. I'm glad he said that. But then I really thought it was awesome when all the other guys in the clubhouse came out and said, no, he said that to us before he said it to the media.
Oh yeah.
Now that's how a man, that's how a leader, that's how you handle your business. You don't go and cry and try to hide behind the camera, and you don't say it to the reporter and then not show up. No, he went up to them, looked them all in their eye, told them, hey, we're too good for this crap. We got to be better. And then the other thing that I really respect out of Dallas Keuchel is, yes, he is a leader. He's won World Series recently. He's done it all as a pitcher. So he's a great leader for a guy like a Dylan Cease or, all these guys. But a Lucas Giolito even. I don't know. Keuchel's quick on that IG. I don't know. You saw it last night. After Lucas had no hitter, he had 3 pitchers up. I was like, dude. I'm sitting in my bed watching this game. I couldn't even get it up that fast. But anyway, he's got
too much information, Zoe. Too much information.
Well, that's why there's this mess behind me. Baby's comes in 2 months. But but yeah, he's just so. The other thing that happened was some people, again, this is Twitter crap, but people try to make it like, oh, this is Abreu's team. What's Keuchel doing? Like, and then Abreu was like, yeah, he didn't really need to say it, but I think that was a translation thing. But then you had Keuchel be like, hey, this is Jose's team. I'm just here to help. This is 100%. And it is. It's Jose's team. It's Jose Abreu is the leader. Keuchel's like his number 2. And TA's the straw that stirs the drink. That's like the dynamics on this team right now. And I respect Keuchel. I respect how he handles his business. I respect him off the field, some of the stuff he's been doing in community and just how he handles himself off the field. And then he goes on the field and he just kills it. I mean, shit, he's pitching against the Pirates today. And that's another reason why a guy like Nick Madrigal.
Here you go again.
It makes sense.
Madrigal blowing. Here it comes.
Dallas Keuchel he's doing what Dallas Keuchel does is he throws to ground balls. He pitches to contact. He pitches for ground balls. Yes. He's actually been striking out people a little bit more than he's used to, which is a welcomed development. But so you got TA, whose defense is gone. His defensive run saved is finally positive after last night. That's and then here is the most mind-blowing stat I'll say all day on this show, though. The White Sox are number 1 in Major League Baseball in defensive runs saved. That's insane.
Yes.
A couple years ago, they were a joke defensively. You can hear the Benny Hill music anytime someone hit a ground ball. Yeah, it was just it was ridiculous. But now, Yohan Moncada is a stud at third base.
Yes, he is.
Cannon. Tim Anderson has worked on charging balls. He made that play last night to save the no-hitter, and that was him charging in on a ground ball. That used to be his huge Achilles heel. He's still got room for work.
Yeah, and a routine ground ball. That's the real.
Yeah, not every play. Yeah, not every play's got to be top 10. Cha-na-na. You don't need that every play. But then you put Nick Madrigal at second, who just won a Gold Glove. He was a Gold Glove for the minors last year. Jose Abreu, statistically and just by the eye test, is playing the best defense of his career. So you put those 4 guys around him, and then you throw a veteran like Grandal or McCann behind the plate. That is the perfect situation for a ground ball pitcher. So if Dallas Keuchel was going to revive his career or go out how he wants to go out, no better time, no better place than the Chicago White Sox. And obviously this went into his decision-making process when signing, to get the paper, but it's just all clicking.
It is.
And
the part of a defense, it doesn't even matter if we're talking basketball, football, baseball, hockey. When you're strong up the middle,
yes.
Okay? When you're stout up the middle, your defense is going to be good. And you talked about it, the catchers. I think we got 2 really good catchers in defensively as well. But then you got TA7 and you got Nick Madrigal. So now you have a Gold Glove second baseman in the minors who's going to, defense travels. It's not like hitting where you got to face different pitchers. The ground balls maybe come just a little faster. But defense travels. So you got a Gold Glover at second in Madrigal. You got a guy who's really worked from being an athlete to a legitimate, perennial all-star shortstop. In Tim Anderson, and then you got a guy who can cover everything from Wisconsin to Indiana, and he's shown it in front of his own teammate in Lewis Robert. So that's a huge thing, and that makes one of the reasons why this White Sox team is so good is because of that defense. And it's good to see, like you said, the Benny Hill music would cue, and it was any ground ball to Tim Anderson that was hit right to him. You're like, okay, is he going to skip it? Is he going to airmail it? What's he going to do? 2 years ago? And now you see that the defense, and I think that's a huge thing that we don't talk about enough on this about this White Sox team is that defense, because they're just launching 5 and 6 and 7 and 10 homers a game. You're like, dude, what the is this batting practice? And so that's one of the things. It's kind of like the Golden State Warriors when they won it, and they're like, everyone talking about Steph, but like, yeah, they're the number 1 defensive team in the NBA.
Right.
Like, you don't look at that. And I think that's what's happening with the White Sox, and soon enough, people are going to start to notice it, and they're going to have more people talking about the defense. But as long as they can stay stout up the middle, this team is still going to be a force to contend with. And I'm looking forward to Monday when first let's get through this series, but Monday. They're on the road in Minnesota. You're going to Minnesota, you take 2 out of 3. All of a sudden, Minnesota's like, okay, yeah, then yeah. Yeah, so hey Zoe, we appreciate it. I know we ran a little long, man, but we just love talking baseball with you, buddy. Yep. Plus, I know you probably it's good to get away doing daddy duty, new daddy duty.
Oh, buddy.
How's the fam? How's the family doing, man?
Fam's good. Wife's a soldier. We got baby Zoe. He's making his debut hopefully the first week in November. Just got his room painted and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's already signed up to go to a couple baseball clinics.
Nice.
Yeah. He's already signed his letter of intent to St. Rita.
Oh my goodness.
But no, we're excited. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's happy. Just if I never have to put together another piece of furniture as long as I live, I will not be upset. Oh man, I want to fly, and whoever runs IKEA, I just want to give them one of these. But yeah, no, it's all good. I'm excited, and hopefully I'll be holding my son in a couple months, talking about how great the White Sox looked in the playoffs.
Wouldn't that be something, huh?
Yep, I'm pretty pumped.
Hey, great stuff, man. We appreciate it, and we'll have you on again soon, buddy. All right.
All right, thank you guys. Always a great time. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right now. Guys, that was Matt Zawoski, Southside Zoe himself from the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast.
I'm cool with the burger suggestion. I don't. At this point, I'm like, why not try stuff? This is what this season is about. It's a gimme. Granted, if we go far and do great things, wonderful. But this is the chance to kick the wheel and try out some different stuff. So Vaughn Burger, because that whole Mitch Burger thing was so sad. I was like, man, to have that happen twice that way,
and then he bruised his heel. Like, damn, dude.
Like, dude, where we keep finding all these like delicate and fragile players from? But
because they don't play football.
They say multi-sport things are always good.
Thank you.
It's good for the body. They say that. So
remember Nate Robinson from the Bulls? He played football. And he didn't get hurt. Little nasty Nate.
That's what he was running out.
Little 50 Cent.
Right. People are like, wait, I missed him. I'm okay with that. It's so funny because what I find is people who love Madrigal love him. It just hasn't quite resonated with me. I haven't seen it. I mean, and I'm a big fundamentals person. I love when a player has solid fundamentals. And granted, I've seen him play well and things of that nature. Just the way he talked about him, I'm like, oh, I'm not seeing any of that yet. But he's watched him more than I have. So I was like, if it's everything he says, fantastic. Because then we're a very young team that should be built to have a long run. Not just like a year or two, but this is a very youthful team that when things start clicking, we should be able to compete for quite a bit of time, so to speak. So.
There you go, Jose. Baila, Jose, baila. There you go.
He don't look right.
Like, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here.
I'm just going to tell you, he so does not look right doing that, but okay.
No, he doesn't. You know what? And the funny thing about it is, like, he doesn't care. Like, he's so enamored being here. Like, he loves Chicago. He loves this team. He loves the teammates. And you know what? He told you he was signing here before he was signed. Like, I'm signing him. I'm going to end my career as a White Sox. And I think that's great, to have that.
For him, he doesn't have to have the Chris Sale experience, which is the team wasn't ever going to be in a position to really benefit from having Sale. And we had to do some things that we brought to us, you know what I'm saying, that are part of it. Jose is like, he gets to do the duration of his career and hopefully end it with getting a ring or two if it's all said and done. You know what I mean? So why would he leave? That's why I think a lot of people here right now are like, this is the place to be. And, Chicago, we often don't get that kind of love too often.
No, we don't.
I'm going to be honest about my team. For a long time, this wasn't the place to be necessarily. Well, now people have been put on notice on how good we are. So with that being said, I'm glad for Abreu, who was just amazing in that Cub series. It was ridiculous.
Why would you keep pitching to him?
Why?
No, not to be a negative Nancy, but they've had only 4 runs last game, and then they had one run the game before. Remember yesterday when we were talking about that power outage, Shawn? Is that going to? Do you think that's on the horizon, or do you think that they're going to? I mean, it is the Pirates. Don't get me. I'm not saying you're going to lose this series, but I'm saying is that power shortage on the horizon?
I don't think so, and here's why. You can't because if you noticed yesterday, first of all, we didn't see it yesterday because all of a sudden there was a blackout. We're like, what the hell happened? They're playing like what? They're talking to Jim Thome and his Hall of Fame thing. I'm like, what the hell happened? So the power outage went down the truck. So we had, but it was all singles. It was singles that brought in the runs. It was a fly out that brought in the runs. So I don't think that power outage is coming. I just think they're used to it. That's their main source. It's not their only way to produce runs. I want to add a way in small ball
Exactly.
Because now you can hit it for home runs.
Yeah.
Now you can get them on, get them over, get them in, and now you can bunt people on over and get them in. And if you're a team that scores those ways, it's tough to beat you.
You can't live and die. It's like living and dying by the three-pointer.
Right.
It's never like the Warriors will tell you that's never really a healthy thing. So even though there's power, that small ball component, like you talked about bunting, I'm like, no, bunting has a place. But here's what's more important. You've got speed on the pads. That's what you've got these young players that a double could end up with somebody scoring. You know, so that's why I'm like, I love power. It's all sexy. We all love seeing the long ball. But the bottom line is that small ball is equally as important to me and having balance, you know, as a team. This is why I'm okay with Adam Engel. I don't need him to be a home run hitter, but I do need him to make contact and to get on base. So if he can, you know, keep in that 270, 280 range in regards to his batting average, I'm okay with that if he gets on base because he's got good speed. And defensively, the kid's a monster.
What I need though is what Shawn was saying about more last night. Like if I was, you know, being you guys, I would want more of exactly that. Manufacturing runs other ways than the home run. Because I'm telling you, I've seen it. You run into it in the later, and granted, it's only 60 games. So there's an, I mean, I guess you could put an asterisk, but it's different. So when it comes to a real season, like a full season, let's say next year, like I would be afraid to have these guys not know how to manufacture runs other ways, or have that mentality of it needs to be a double to the gap or a bomb. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want that because I've seen it. I've seen it with the Cubs. The Cubs lost their way, you know, quickly. And they got to later in the season, they got to the playoffs, and it was bleak.
Because think about
nothing coming. Nothing coming, but you had a hope for a 2 or 3 run home run to save your ass.
Right.
Think about the spring training that they've had. They had it, they stopped it, they're off for a couple months, and they came back, they had it. How many are working on bunt defense? How many? And even if you are, it's a different animal to work on bunt defense and actually have it play out in the game. When you have a Lewis Robert running down the line, when you have a Tim Anderson running down the line, when you have a Yoel Moncada healthy running down the line, it's a different animal.
Yes,
that's a different animal because you see. First of all, you know the reputation. You know they got speed.
The pressure. That's
exactly what I'm talking about. You know you have to make a good throw. Chances are you're not going to be able to pick it up, you know, scoop it and then take it out of your glove. It's going to have to be you're going to have to barehand it. That's one thing you're going to have to do first and foremost, barehanded. And then secondly, you're going to have to make an off-balance throw because if it's a perfect bunt and the way those guys are running down that line, you got to get rid of that quickly. That's not practiced often. Okay, it's just not in baseball anymore. So there's a good chance to airmail it, and all of a sudden, instead of bunting for a base hit, now you got a guy in scoring position. Okay, if it goes awry, airmails it into the dugout, whatever it is, it puts a lot of pressure on a defense, on a third baseman who probably hasn't had a lot of practice doing that. And even if he has, having practice with someone running down the line like a Tim Anderson, Yoel Moncada, or Lewis Robert. So, man, well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, so if we in the middle of this whole thing, we're able to confirm we have a guest coming on. She was on our show on our meaning SportsZone Chicago show. What's up, cuz on Monday. Mm-hmm. She is a Dominicana. She is a fitness model, and she's trying to bring the Hispanic culture and people of color into that realm. Okay, it's usually there aren't very many people of color in there, and she is in first place. She's trying to get to be on the cover. Mm-hmm. The cover of Miss Fitness, this Health and Fitness, Miss Health and Fitness 2020. So she needs your help with votes. I posted on Facebook and on Instagram to try and help her out. She's back in first place. So the voting ends tomorrow. So we're going to bring her up. She'll be coming up next. So don't go anywhere, folks. Yohaisa de Jesus. I wonder if she's related to Ivan de Jesus from the Cubs. I don't know. We'll ask her. Who knows? Anyway, Yohaisa.
Yeah,
everybody ain't related.
Yeah,
it's like an area related to Javi.
She's Dominican. He's Puerto Rican. But Yohaisa de Jesus is coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago.
BoomerNaturals.com presents the Sports Flash on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone.
Line shot into right, coming in his angle, he's got the ball. And this one's over. And Lucas Giolito has thrown a no-hitter here at Guaranteed Rate Field. August 25th of 2020.
WGN with the call, the first no-hitter of the pandemic shortened season. Lucas Giolito leading the White Sox past the Pirates 4-0 the final. Giolito went the distance, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk on the day, improving his record to 3-2 overall.
2-1 fly ball, left field, way back in left. Got a chance. Goodbye.
Tigers radio with the call, Jonathan Scope with the grand slam, 7-1 the final over Chicago. The Tigers rallied with a 5-run 6th inning. Boomer Naturals, your source for 3-layer protective face masks. Breathable protection for adults and kids. Save 20% with promo code SPORTS at boomernaturals.com. Chuck Sanders, that's the Sports Flash, 1330 95.9 The Zone.
Whether class is in school, at home, or a little bit of both, school goes on.
And Staples has everything you need to start the year right.
From lap desks to notebooks, noise-canceling headphones to UV sanitizers.
And all at amazing prices. This week, select Marble comp books, 4-ounce Elmer's glue, and Staples dual-size pencil sharpeners are just 25 cents each.
Plus, you can shop in-store or pick up curbside. School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/29, in-store only, limit 6, while supplies last, curbside available in most stores.
Hiring is challenging. Just ask Dylan Miskowitz, the COO of Cafe Altura.
We needed a director of coffee in order to move our products forward. It felt like we were looking for a needle in a haystack.
Dylan started using ZipRecruiter and found his perfect candidate in a few days.
We were very impressed with how quickly we had quality candidates apply through ZipRecruiter.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago on this hump day. Maya, what are you doing today? It's going to be a hot one. A hot one today. It's going to be about 98 degrees. And we're not talking about the boy band either. It's going to be 98 degrees.
The fact that you even know that is like so freaking sad. You're like, it's not the boy band.
I was a high school teacher, okay? I had girls.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's okay. You know, you were there. You were dancing. You know it.
I stopped
I'm actually going to watch the game because it's at 1:10 Sox game.
That's right. That's right.
And so I'm trying to Jahiza is a motivation. I've been working out, but then I saw her pics and I was like, dude, my fat ass, I got to keep it up a notch. Wait a minute. Wait, hold up. She has 3 kids. Okay, I got cats, so I'm a fat ass and I had no kids. I was like, I got to get my game. She's making me step my game up. Wait till you see some of these pictures. I was like, I got to step my game up. See, that kind of stuff motivates me. When I see people like that, like that's why I like doing my HIIT stuff and CrossFit, because it's so challenging to see people like that. I was like, holy cow. Now, mind you, I'm not going to be trying that anytime soon. So I was doing some running. I'm like, I'm kind of tired of running a little bit now. So I'm going to be doing a spin class tonight. So I'm mixing it up again. So I'm going to do a spin class and we'll see how that goes. I'm sure my ass is going to be hurt tomorrow. That's what's going to happen. But I have a special seat, by the way. I'll walk in and put a seat on my bike.
Because your butt's so big?
It's bigger than everybody else in the room. So, yeah. I need cushion.
That's what happens when you're Afro-Latina.
I happen to be that one Afro-Latina who does not have a big ass. Hips and no butt. Okay.
Anyway, I had crossed it this morning. So I'm fired up, and my put it this way, my glutes are on fire. We did wall balls today, so glutes are on fire.
I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
I'm very happy. But our next guest, she'll put us all to shame when it comes to fitness, and she is she is a pioneer, and I love it, and that's why we had to get her on. Una Latina. She is Dominicana, if I'm not mistaken. She's in a contest right now. So be on the cover of Miss Health and Fitness 2020. We want to bring her on. We want to kind of help her out. I put together a post on Facebook and Instagram, but we want to bring her on just to tell her story and have all my Latinos unite and vote. You can find her on Twitter at Yohaiza de Jesus. Guys, just welcome Shawn and Maya all the way from the 305. Yohaiza de Jesus. Yohaiza, what's up, Ma? How are you?
Blessings, everyone. Hola, hola, hola.
Hello.
Hey, you guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No, man. Here's the thing. Thank you, for doing what you're doing. We talked with Jason. We talked to Jason the other day, and he was telling us about it. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. That's why we built this platform. SportsZone Chicago, and that's it. And you're doing the same thing. As you want to be a pioneer and get people of color more into health and fitness. We've had a couple like running Coleman and some other guys in like bodybuilding, but let's get more fitness people and get more people of color in there into this in health and fitness, because let's keep it real. A lot of people of color don't take care of themselves very well.
Right. And it's all about the mindset. It's all about the mindset and the mentality that we have when it comes to health and fitness. And so it doesn't have to be bodybuilding. It does not have to be excruciating where you are in the gym for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Is actually learning and getting to understand the concept of health, the concept of fitness, and just being at that optimum level where you can function and be fit. And so that's where, I learned how to find the gap and try to bridge the gap now, and just teaching our people, our community, the importance of health and fitness, and just movement, because that's basically what it is. It's moving. It's making sure that we are doing what we need to do for our body so that we can function in our daily lives. And so this is where I'm at. I'm here, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to teach that, because before, for me as an athlete back in high school and even throughout college, it was a different type of definition for me and perspective. And so we don't get there until they teach us and they let us understand, okay, you're going to do this sport. Well, this is what you got to do, but doesn't teach us the foundation or the importance of just health in our daily lives, fitness in our daily lives, and being able to move just by trying to get up from your seat, trying to, clean your household. That's the type of exercise. It requires movement, but if you're aching just to sweep the floor, that's where the problem come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
and dance, don't forget, somos Latinos and we love to dance. So dance is another phenomenal form of exercise.
And that's a great way to get your cardio in. You can make it fun. You can find things to still implement movement and still get the heart rate up, still get that blood flowing. And fitness, with dancing, that's one of my favorite. That's how I started.
It's in a Latino household, you get it. There's some depends. I'm sure it's just different music. They'll throw on chente. I'm Mexican and black, so they'll throw on chente, and they'll all right, we gotta go clean. It's Sunday, we gotta clean the house. Levantate. And I can't say other words. Get up, let's go. We gotta clean the house. We gotta do this. We gotta do laundry. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. Like, ay, ama. Listen, if I tell you again, I said, voy para allá. Okay, and that was it.
Right.
You got about quick, fast, in a hurry.
Do it real quick, yes.
Yeah, seriously.
When I saw you on Jason and Lance's show Monday, What's Up, Cuz, you talked about, and see, this was interesting for people who don't like to work out, the idea of gym, anything totally turns them out. And you talked about putting together 15-minute workouts, which if you can't do 15 minutes, that's ridiculous, to kind of engage people and kind of get them on that path to thinking healthier and getting more acquainted with exercise.
Yes. So you don't have to be there long. I do every month. I always post a challenge with a word that I usually get. And so I know last month it was momentum, and just build up something that is still going to give you 15 minutes of full body exercise. I also explained that if you don't get 15 minutes, at least do one round and you can get at least a minute in. That's my son.
He's back again. Hi.
At least
one minute. Mommy's on TV a lot, man. What's all this about?
And just getting 1 minute in, 1 minute to 5 minutes. Right now in this month's challenge, I do it's called the Unstoppable Challenge, because I threw in the Tabata exercise, which is a type of HIIT exercise, and mixed in with AMRAP because I used to do CrossFit. So it kicked my butt because I went live and did it. It kicked my butt, but I got to show people, like, doesn't matter what level of fitness you're in, you're going to hurt because that's the point. You have to put your body into a level of stress where it can then adapt to it. And then when you're trying to clean the room, you're trying to do whatever it is, any type of movement, you're able to do it swiftly. And so it's just finding something that you're going to have fun with, finding something that you're going to enjoy, and not see it as a punishment. Because that's how we would probably see it, don't see it something negative when you have to exercise. Make it fun. Understand that, what, this is for the long run. This is for me to continue living, trying to, live longer, healthier, being able to move compared to try to live longer, but then you're not able to do much, not able to do anything because of the lack of movement, the lack of exercise that you did not implement during your younger years. So 15 minutes, you can do anything within 15 minutes. Put in some jumping jacks, put in some great, workout music that's going to also help you with your mood and get you excited and motivated about it. And then just push yourself, mental toughness. That's one key. It also implements that mental toughness, and it shows you how to discipline yourself with other things in life. It's not just only exercise.
Guys, we're joined by Yohaisa de Jesus, fitness model. Right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on SportsZone Chicago. So what got you into fitness? I know you said you were an athlete in high school, but that doesn't necessarily translate into being a fitness model after you get out of high school and or college. Mm-hmm. What got you into being a fitness model or fitness period afterwards?
Yeah. So at first it was just, like you stated, it was just something that I enjoyed doing, which was just working out, being an athlete. But then I used to model on the side before I really got into this whole deeper in fitness. And so what I ended up doing was trying to tie in fitness and modeling and being able to show people the different levels that you can be in as fit, because sometimes what society would do is tell you, okay, this is what fit look like. This is what fitness is. And then just put that perspective in there. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm not that tall. So I couldn't represent basically 90% of the models, 98% of the models out there, because I'm not tall. I'm actually short. I'm 5'2".
You're short.
You're more in the same zip code.
You got me right now. I'm only 5'1", so you got me. But yeah.
So it was really challenging, but because I knew also just what they were looking for, and I may not have the height, but yes, I was athletic. Yes, I can go ahead and do what these other models were doing. And then it just, it dawned on me like, okay, breaking barriers, making myself go out there and say, hey, well, I want to see more of me there as well, because I was like, okay, I'm in between, no, I'm not white. Okay, no, well, I'm not considered this African American, black. And I'm like, well, I'm Hispanic. So if we're going to go into the roots and stuff, I'm like, well, yes, I'm Afro-Latina. I'm like, wait a minute, but we don't see either minority. We don't see Black women. We just don't see women of color, Latinas, it has to be a certain way closer to the European looks, so I was really adamant about getting into the field where saying, hey, well, I want to see more of me. I want to see more women of color. I want to see more just women to represent just health and fitness, and not just be, okay, well, I have to be in bodybuilding and this is how I have to look. No, I'm a representation of health and fitness. This is what I do. This is, what I implement in my life daily. And everyone, is going to have a different look when it comes to fitness. And so I believe, where I'm at, I can represent that. I can show and I can say, hey, this is my level of fitness. This is the evolution, because I've changed throughout. And, with goals, you're going to get better. You're going to change eventually. But health, personally, it brought me into it brought me to a state where it gave me a new perspective and understanding the importance of health and making sure that it's not just the physical, but it was also internally. You have to be healthy internally, and it's always that mental fitness, that mental health that will then expose how you are on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So
what got you? I mean, how did you come across this Miss Health and Fitness 2020? Just that we're trying to get you number one, get you on the cover, and you talk about you want to see more of you. If you can get there, there's going to be a lot of little girls who see themselves in you, because representation is everything. So what got you into how did Miss Health and Fitness find you to get you in the competition? How did that come about?
Well, stumbling first, because I have health and fitness things on the social media. Okay. So stumbling through it, came across it, but then confirmation was when a friend of mine said, "Hey, I thought of you." And I saw this, I thought of you, and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I don't want to do that. And she's like, oh, well, I think you're great. You're great. You try it, something new. And this year was the year where I was going to go ahead and try everything that God had for me. I was like, I'm just going to try whatever it is, have set new goals and see what happens. And so I just decided to do it, not knowing everything that entails with Miss Health and Fitness 2020. It was a voting campaign. I thought it was actually something that lasted maybe like a month or so, just get some votes, short term, and that was it. But the day of voting, of the official voting day, that's when all the rules, everything came out, and they stepped the rounds. So it is a vote-a-thon that goes all the way to October 8th, which is the final day of voting. And we've been knocking it round to round, and I just been blessed. I just asking people to vote every day, letting them know to vote every day, and notifying them that, hey, it's very important to get women of color, especially on this magazine, and just on magazines, period, concerning health and fitness. You don't really see too many of us in there just being a representation of women of color. And so I think this is a great opportunity to push me into my mission, because even though the goal is to be Miss Health and Fitness, have the title, and be on the cover of the Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine, the greater mission is to get out there and really teach and educate people how to fit in health in every area of their life, educate them on the importance of holistic fitness, transforming from the inside out, because I'm the living testimony. It changed me. I am still evolving. And so it's basic to educate them. And I think this platform is going to help me to get there. It's going to catapult me to really reach out and help people to focus on the holistic fitness, so that they can be whole. They can, walk in purpose and understand that, hey, they can be fit, they can be healthy, and help other people, in their life as well, to transform and understand basically what holistic fitness is.
Well, we put together, a campaign for you. When I saw that, we're like, man, let's try and help her out. Like I said, Latinos Unite. So you saw the post. There was most of my Latino friends, and a lot of people were voting. And I'm like, good. You know what? And this is how we stick together. And this is how we accomplish things. One of the things I want to talk about, you had a situation where you were ill, and talk to me about how you being into fitness, how that helped you get through the serious health issue that you incurred.
Bueno, the first thing that when the doctor saw me, by that time, I was about 90 something pounds. I ended up losing weight drastically. And at that moment, I was not diagnosed yet with chronic ulcerative colitis, which is inflammation of the colon. And so during that time, they mentioned was gastritis, which is inflammation, but just in the stomach area. And he told me, he said, you know what, if it wasn't for your fitness level, you probably would have been dead by now.
Oh, wow.
And so me not knowing anything much about gastritis or ulcerative colitis, none of that, I'm just like, okay, I have physical therapy background, because that's what I went to school for. And so some terminology I understood, but I'm like, okay, but it must have been really serious. That was my thought. So as it progressed and it got even more serious to eventually being diagnosed with chronic ulcerative colitis, I was not getting better and weight kept dropping. And the lowest I was like 70 something to 80 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness. Very
drastic. The medications were not helping or anything like that. And the doctor was just like, I was being used as a guinea pig, basically, because during that time, they didn't know exactly what causes it. And me being so young, I was around 19 during that time. And then 20 by the time I had surgery. They were just there testing like, okay, she's young. Usually the people that have ulcerative colitis, they're already on their like 80s, 70s, 80s.
Oh, wow.
But I was 19. And so to them, it was like, we got bait, we got bait. So let's test. And I was bruised up. I was bruised up from all like getting tested 3-4 times a day in the hospital for a full month. And I was not getting better. And I'm there. I left the hospital. And even though that was not smart, but I left because I just couldn't take it anymore. So then a couple of days after, I was rushed back to the hospital. And that was literally my deathbed. I was laying there and the doctor stated that if I don't get blood transfusion, that I was going to die. And then I just remember hearing that. And then I just blacked out. I blacked out. And once they found out what was my blood type, it was like, okay, well, she has to have a special now blood transfusion because of her blood type. And found out that my mom and my youngest brother, they were my blood type. So they were able to donate. So that saved me, as well as I believe, God, just that grace and mercy to be able to still speak about it today and teach people. That was my purpose. I had to go through certain things to give a light to people and teach them and understand that, hey, doesn't really matter your color, but a lot of people of our color, they are going through colon cancer. So even though they did not diagnose me with colon cancer, the surgeon did state that if it gotten worse, I could have ended with the colon cancer.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yes. So that was something that just changed my whole perspective when it came to fitness, when it came to health. And that's how Fit and Health, which is what I'm building my programs and my business, came about. Just implementing holistic fitness and teaching people like, hey, you have to understand the importance of just being healthy internally as well as externally, because people only think of the physical, but it's what you put in your mouth. It's, it was just a variety of things. Malnutrition. I was working 2 full-time jobs. I was one of those that, hey, I needed to work. I had to work. I was a single mom at that time with 1 child. And so it was like, this is what I have to do. And no rest, this is what I got to do. I got to get it done. And it's important. Rest is important. And resting is still proactive movement because your body has to heal,
So the
perspective.
The round the next round ends tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Yeah. So this round, so this is the group winner round, and this is the last round of preliminaries. It ends tomorrow on the 27th at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and so this round determines if you make it to the finals, which is the next round, the quarterfinals. So only the first place winners of each group gets to go to the next round.
So where are you standing now? Are you in first place? You're in second place? Where are you at as of today?
Yes. Before coming here, I saw that I was in first place.
I voted this morning. I voted this morning again.
Yeah.
I voted when I got back from CrossFit and it said, "Oh, you have to wait another 3 hours." That wasn't a 24-hour period. I'm like, "Oh, okay, la chihuahua." I said, "All right." I was like, "Okay, great. I'll vote in a little bit," but so I got to give it that 3-hour window to be good right after the show. But this is awesome, guys. You have, what did Jason said? She's the reason why I roll out of bed and work out 5 minutes a day. 15 minutes.
He made five.
Yeah, or maybe 1 + 5, 6. Well, you know what to vote for your heights. Look, it's the bottom of the screen at www.misshealthandfitness.com/2020/your heights of the Jesus. Make sure it's been scrolling on the screen the whole time. Make sure that
we'll do this. We'll actually keep it from rolling, and we'll make it static, so that people can actually take time and look at it. So we'll make it not scroll that way, so we can get everybody in there doing this.
Oh, right. Wonderful! And we'll make sure it's on our page, and we definitely would love to have you represent. There's representation is everything. We've been we're friends with like Sierra Santos was a girl here, and una Latina here, and she broke barriers being a sports broadcaster. One of the first Mexican or Hispanic female broadcaster here, a sports girl. And man, there's so many different things, and we're friends with her, and I've told her, I was like, man, just keep doing what you're doing, because you're inspiring a lot of. You don't even know how many people you're inspiring, because representation is everything. And you see, like, I can be her. We came from the same neighborhood. We're both Mexican. I can do that. It just opens doors for everybody. So make sure you vote for
the new generation, especially for the new generation. That's very important, because everything that's just been happening, it seems like the newer generation, they're more discouraged, even though they have that boldness too. But it's just by what they see as well that they kind of get discouraged. So if we're here trying to break barriers and they get to see, okay, this is what I'm seeing, like I can do that, and they just go ahead and continue with their boldness, I think it's going to be powerful. The future can be very powerful. And so I'm trying to bring that out, because I have 2 daughters and 1 son. And so I'm like, hey, I have to get this, and everybody else that's going to be watching, like these young girls and our young men, they get to see these things and understand like the value and the worth that they have, and that they can be there too, and just be represented, so that they can be brought up and do the same thing or even better, because that's the goal, to get our generation to be even better.
So listen, one thing. So when was the last time you were in Chicago?
I've never been to Chicago. I think I had like a Chicago, like a layover flight or something, but I didn't go anywhere. I didn't go anywhere. But
I was about to invite you. Like, man, you come to Chicago, you got to come to a CrossFit class with me. It might have to be at 5 in the morning, but because we're a little cult. A little 5 in the morning. But yeah, you know what? I can make an exception. If you can make it out to Chicago, you're more than welcome to come join me at a CrossFit class, if that's what you did. And,
that would be awesome.
If I'm heading down to Florida,
we'll make sure Jason gets there too, and Lance. Since Lance is all about 60-40, we'll make sure he gets there too.
Yeah, that's 60-40 there. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, wait a minute.
I did that for and I did that in the one day that I didn't stretch my Achilles. I strained my Achilles, because I'll tell you what, that was no punk. That 60-40 was no punk. Ooh. And the day, I think it was day 5, and my Achilles, I just didn't stretch my Achilles that day, and
it ain't smart.
No, so luckily, I can't run still, but I can do CrossFit, which is fine. So and today, this morning at 5, we had part of it was 200-meter sprints, and I was like, I said, let me know what I can do. So I did the assault bike instead. So
okay.
So if I'm ever down in Florida, I will hit you up, and we'll go to we'll find a box somewhere, and we will definitely do some CrossFit, because I love CrossFit. It's sick, insane, and it's the closest thing that I found to working out for football, and I love it. Hey guys, again, make sure you vote for Yohaisa de Jesus.
Yes.
At www.misshealthandfitness.com/2020 /Yohaisa de Jesus. Let's get her on the cover and get her inspiring even more and more people to do well and live a healthy life and just be better. Yohaisa, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to make it happen last minute.
Yes.
But like I said, I apologize. I got the days mixed up. I thought the last day was Friday, and it's not. It's tomorrow. I'm like, we got to do this today. So again, thank you so much. Great stuff. And we're going to keep voting for you. And in Chicago, I told you in the post, we vote early and often. That's how we do it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, before you go, there are some special voting things. You said this is also in conjunction with, is it Wounded Warrior?
Yes. So the purchase vote. It's called the Warrior Votes. People can get their free daily votes, which is just 1 vote. every 24 hours, but the unlimited votes would be warrior votes. So you get to purchase your votes. It's $1 a vote. And I think the minimum is $10 though. And so I'll get 10 votes. And sometimes they do have a special, but we don't be knowing. They just pop up and they'll let you know, hey, 2 for 1. So you get 2 votes for 1, you know. So those be the best times to, to purchase votes, when they get to that special where we get double the votes. But they do have the warrior votes, and the entire proceed will go to the Homes for Wounded Warriors. So that's for our U.S. Military vets that has been wounded, and they provide them with homes, home essentials, anything it is that they need to continue, you know, through their daily lives. Right. It goes to them. So it's like supporting 2 causes as one.
Exactly. All right.
Hey, awesome. You're high, so we gotta let you go. But when you advance to the next round, we'll have you back on so we can promote you advancing to the semifinals. And then again, to help to provide us to the finals.
That's right.
Get you on top. Hey guys, again.
Thank you.
You can find her on Twitter at Your Heist of the Jesus. Thank you so much. We'll holler at you soon, okay?
All right. Please.
Guys, that was a phenomenal show. I was so happy we were able to get her on. That was good.
Yes.
And representation is everything. I want to thank my guest today, our guest, Joseph Phillips from the Chicago Crusader.
Yep.
I want to thank Southside Zoe himself, Matt Zawoski. I want to thank Your Heist of the Jesus for coming on, especially in last minute. Great stuff. And also want to thank our technical producer, Elliot Baez, our social media guru himself, Clarence Council, and the man behind the curtain himself, our Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife, Ivan Vargas. I want to thank you guys. All you guys made it a phenomenal show. So for my lovely co-host with her cat, she's going to be Dr. Evil now with her cat,
right.
Maya Kai.
Goodbye, everybody.
Oh, no. Au revoir, mon ami, tout adores.
Oh, wow, look at you. You got it down pat. Au revoir, mon ami, tout adores.
And my man, and the Wiz himself, Ivan Vargas. Bring yourself on.
That was pretty good, Shawn. I was impressed. That was pretty impressive. He was struggling a couple times, like the last couple weeks, but this one, you really nailed it.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I haven't practiced or anything, really. So guys, we're going to take a 46-hour break, and we'll see you on Friday. TGI Mickey Ficky Friday, baby. So until then, we got 5 words for you. First 3, Maya, tell them the first 3. Down.
No, I'm going to change it today. Go vote now.
Okay, so we got 8 words. Go vote now. Make sure you vote for Your Heist of the Jesus. And then the next 3 are
download the app.
Download the app, Ivan. And the last one, we out.
Deuces.